Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's time. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, hey, we got you covered. All 3 hours get posted upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. Email us if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Thanks for all the tweets. Get back to some of you. Not everybody. Do my best. WTSM. You can do it, Jeff. Mobile app. Get the WTSM app. We butchered that one. I don't pay enough attention to the app. I probably should. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. All right, Florida State couldn't hit again last night, and that led to a fairly significant loss, meaning the end of a Hall of Fame and legendary career. Mike Martin does get to end it out in Omaha, though, and for that, I'm grateful, just as I was for the run. Not something that we necessarily saw coming. That team this year was flawed and revealed that to us time and again over the course of a long season. But righted the ship long enough to make a run and make it possible for the coach with more wins than any other to get back out to Omaha, a place that if you're a baseball enthusiast, college baseball enthusiast, you cherish. And I know he certainly did. And he spoke of it glowingly throughout his life and his career in baseball. So I was, in some ways, less disappointed and more, I think, in a sense, filled with gratitude that happened, that they got hot, that they were able to put together a series of games to get back out to Omaha, to give us a little bit more life, a little bit more gusto, and something more befitting of a legend like Mike Martin. I would have obviously cared for them to get some hits on occasion, score some runs every now and again while we're out there, but that's the micro. The macro is that it was a fitting in for a guy who loved this program, this university, and his time here as head coach every day. You could see it. You could sense it when he spoke of Florida State, when he spoke of baseball, when he spoke of his role in developing young men. And for that, I was very happy. Hated to see the loss. Nobody ever wants to lose. I didn't think this team was going to win a national championship. I didn't think this team was, especially this team, was going to be able to piece enough solid ABs and overall sound play for the course of the time that they were going to be in Omaha, that they could be in a position to win a national championship. So the disappointment isn't as shocking. I'm just happy that they got to have a run, and we say goodbye to Mike Martin, who is an all-time great Nole, an all-time great coach, and somebody that served as not just a head coach at Florida State, but an incredible ambassador. Nobody would argue that. I think even for those that are ready to move on, there is no arguing the class and dignity with which he served the university. And Florida State's better for having had Mike Martin here as a coach.
For as long as they've had Mike Martin as a coach, which is something I can't really wrap my mind around because it's longer than I've been alive. And, I'm just bummed today because you wanted it for him. He said he wanted it for the players, but we all wanted it for him. I mean, walking out of the stadium in Baton Rouge, people would stop us in LSU gear. Hopefully he gets it. I'm rooting for him to get it.
Yeah.
As though it was okay because they had their 6. So, can we get him his 1?
We'll give him his 1, yeah.
But honestly, last night, the way the game went, and we talked about the different scenarios of, if you get blown out or if it's a close game or even if you win. But the way the game was, and when it gets to 4-1, you're kind of able to go through the stages of grief that this time is come up. And
I started that stage process at 2-1.
I know you did. 1 run is possible, man. We've seen wild pitches and pass balls, and the catcher making a ridiculous throw.
Throwing it out in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, if it was for the kid being late to cover second base, he would have thrown it out into right field again.
Might have got another run there.
That
could have been in the alley, buddy.
That could have been in the alley. He's got a pretty good arm behind the plate.
Yeah.
It just was it was finally over, though, when the kid makes the catch in right center. I didn't think the 9th inning was going to produce, but we had a chance there in the 8th if you could get Salvatore up with a couple of guys on base, which is what that was lining up to be, especially if that fly ball drops. It seemed like there was only half of the field that we were hitting on last night, and that was the side to pull. And it's unfortunate because we had a lot of opportunities, and we just weren't able to cash in on them. But again, you're right. That's the micro. The macro was this whirlwind of a month, which captured our imagination again. Things were so stale here in his final season, and isn't that the statement of where things had been with the baseball program? That's sad that we felt that way, but we've gotten woken up, at least in this last month, and I think that's going to transition into some new energy for whoever the new coach is whenever they hire the new coach.
Well, and there's a lot of hope within the pitching staff. There's some guys offensively that you like as well. They're not, the cupboard's not bare. This is a team that ends up being one of the last 6 standing in college baseball, and to some degree they ended up circling back and meeting the preseason expectations of what they could be. We go into the season thinking really good things about what this team can be, and they start off on fire, and they're playing great defense, and they're hitting, and they're 12-0, and they're doing all those things, and then the Florida game happens, and it begins to unravel. And then during stretches where they played so poorly, when they lost 13 of 20, and you just saw that there were holes in this lineup. They weren't great defensively. They were a feast or famine type of team. They weren't getting, at that time, consistent starting pitching. Some things changed in the second half of the season. They got, at the end of the year, obviously, we use the phrase a lot, hot at the right time, but they really went in with a real good plan of attack in Athens. Once they made the postseason, they seemed to have exhaled, played a little bit looser. That stands to reason. They had a great approach against 2 very good pitchers in Georgia, and pounded that team. And they didn't squeak by that regional; they dominated that regional, and so they gave you a little bit of hope. And they go on to a historic place like Alex Box Stadium in Baton Rouge with those fans and that pedigree. We didn't figure they'd go in there and win. That's a hard place to win, even for teams that are more talented than the one we were rolling up there. But they did go and win. They didn't just win, they swept. And they showed heart in doing it. Get no hit halfway through the first game, and they rally back and steal one and then go win the next night in extra innings. And it's dramatic, and it gives you another chapter to a legendary career. And now we're back in Omaha, and maybe it was a little bit of fool's gold that you were able to win a game in which you only score 1 run because you get such a dominating start from Drew Parrish, and you beat an Arkansas team that was 1 out away from winning the national championship a year ago. A lot of people thought that team would go back and get their revenge and unfinished business and all of that. We looked at their numbers through the year. They were a real good baseball team all season long, and they came into the College World Series feeling good about their chances, and then they get blanked by Florida State, and they lose, and the next thing you know, they're headed to the house. And you start to believe, you start to say, my goodness gracious, is there, as we joked, enough magic in the moonlight? Can, whatever fairy dust has been sprinkled on this team, they now believe. They now think they're better than they are. But at the end of the day, they weren't having good at-bats. And we started to talk about that. Even in the LSU series that they won, I said, some of the guys in this lineup, the guys we're counting on to hit, their approach left a little bit to be desired. We noted that. But, hey, maybe some time off. We'll get them right. They'll get out there, clean slate. We'll see what happens. But we saw more of it, even in victory. And then, of course, we saw it when they got 3 hit and shut out by Michigan. And then we saw it again last night. In truth, this was much more of who this team was than the run that they went on at the end of the year, which did provide the magic. But we can't be shocked that they lost. Not because of anything 11 did or did not do, but rather because of who they revealed themselves to be throughout the course of a season. But we can be very grateful for a career well played, numbers that will never be matched. No, he never got the national title. That's the shame of it. He won everything else there was to win. The highlights of that career are well documented and amazing. I think as time goes by, even those that maybe do not have the same sort of gratitude that I'm expressing now will see that we were fortunate to have a great ambassador like Mike Martin lead this program and win as many games as he did, and certainly enter us into the pantheon of great college baseball programs. That's what he did do. He ushered us. He is Florida State baseball. There is no question. And now it's a clean slate. We move on. We see the next chapter, whatever that might be. But he got to celebrate the last one in Omaha, and that was fitting.
Yeah, that's the way it should have been. It feels a little somber today, though, because you realize that you're not going to have another manager or coach at Florida State quite like Mike Martin.
No.
And the thing that sticks with me, covering a handful of years on and off on the beat, or running the board for it, or just talking about it here. Whenever I was at a press engagement and there was some other Florida State sporting event that happened, either the night before or the same day as the baseball game,
he'd ask about it.
He cared so much about this university. I mean, he still does. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, it's just he always cared to know what the latest information was.
Yeah, how they
or
do.
If we got robbed the night before, the first thing he'd say before he took questions was, "Can you believe that ridiculous call last?" I mean, something along the lines of Florida State putting up the Seminole brand, men's sports, women's sports, whatever it was. He always put it on that pedestal because he cares about Florida State athletics and the university as a whole. And it's hard in this day and age to find somebody like that, let alone for 20 years. And we had it for 40, and it's just amazing.
It is amazing, and 2,000 plus wins is absurd to try to comprehend, to wrap your mind around. It's very, very difficult. It doesn't even seem to make sense when you see the people on the list that are next, the number of consecutive 40-win seasons. I know they posted that last night, and you could just chuckle at how far away everybody is and kind of laugh at the absurdity of that accomplishment, that consistency. This team winning 40-plus games in a year where we saw them.
Insane.
The
last two teams that went to Omaha. I mean, think about it. His last two teams had absolutely no business at the halfway mark.
Yeah, and so congratulations. And, I'll spend some time later in the show today expressing some thoughts about Mike Martin. I've been very fortunate in that I got to cover him and that he was one of the first people that I ever got to talk to in the realm of working in sports media. I think he was the first head coach I ever did talk to, frankly. And of course, you're talking about reflecting on a career, but our role in it, our place in it, you can't help but look inward. How many times you sat over there at Dick Howser Stadium, whether covering or rooting or being there as a student or a fan or whatever it might be. Oh, countless memories. And, of course, he engineered all those as the manager, as the head coach at Florida State. It's crazy.
Well, that's how you experience it is through the way it touched you. And
yeah.
You had a multi-decade history with it. My first Florida State experiences, my sister came here in the 90s, and I went to a game at Hauser way back in the day. We stopped at Bill's, too. From Osceola Hall to get me a hat. So I got a hat and had the diamond on it. It was this really cool kid's hat. Walked over there to my first game, and then my, as it would happen, my science and math teacher in elementary and middle school had two sons pitch for the team, and so that fortified my love for FSU baseball. I had a really interesting, unique experience with it, and then the Buster Posey years were my undergraduate years. It's a unique story, and it's something that, again, I just feel somber today about it. But when we get that announcement for the new coach, I'll be excited for that all the same. It's just you reflect on it and you say, nobody's ever going to do it quite like that again.
Little things, too, that, you talk about Buster Posey and the greats that have come through here. Of course, I saw J.D. Drew, and we can go through the litany of pitchers that they've had that went on to the bigs, and any number of guys that we could pick and choose that were our favorites. But I can remember those nights where we're playing at Jacksonville, and I'm sitting next to my buddy Eric Jacobs, and it's a little chilly outside. It's early in the year. We got a cup of coffee in our hand, and we're just watching FSU baseball, man. We're just talking about baseball. And I can recount and will always recall so many days talking to Lee Bowen. I bring him up a lot, but for good reason. He was as passionate about Florida State baseball as anybody. Did play-by-play for a long time, and got to know Mike Martin, obviously, exceptionally well, and probably almost more than anybody for a time there that I knew, certainly. And we would kick around, the kind of team that would win it and what Martin had to do or get past or what's he going to do tomorrow with the lineup. And we would have those conversations. I got lucky enough that he invited me to be – I did color for a few games, went down to Gainesville and did color for a game that I'll always remember. That was unique. I did a broadcast for the Armed Forces Network in which I did play-by-play when we lost to Notre Dame in the regional, and I'll never forget that heartbreaking defeat. And Peachy Billette and players like that, I got to do that, and I got to interview 11 before that game and after that game. And countless times, I remember some of the controversies with the University of Miami when they were spying from the parking garage across the street and walkie-talking signs in. And I talked to 11 right after that happened, and his thoughts on the significance of that, what disappointed him about it, what his thoughts were, in
integrity,
the moment, integrity, all those things. And yeah, no, I'll never forget that. And so, congrats on a career well played, man. One hell of a run. And again, very fitting that they get back to Omaha. No, they don't win it all. They weren't good enough to win it all, but they got back out there and they gave us that last spark, and they gave him that last spark. And I do believe, I've said this throughout the week, and I feel this just looking at his facial expressions and the way that he's reacted to the fans, the interviews he's been able to give, sort of the moments the cameras caught him where he's smiling in such a way that it's totally genuine. How incredulous he was when they closed it out against LSU. That was the best. That they got that camera out there in time to poke back into the dugout, and he's got that grin on his face as he watches his players sprinting out there to dogpile after the victory. That was a guy who was soaking it in, and I'm glad he got to do that.
Well, I think it's, those faces he may not remember a week from now. Maybe he will remember a couple of them or their voices, but it's the game giving back to him, and it's just through all of these people. And that's cool because, he's always cared about the great game. That's how he closes every year. He did it last night. I listened to the sign-off last night from Eric Llewellyn on the IMG network, and he signed off his media press conference the same way he always does, thanking people for covering the great game of baseball and keeping it at the forefront of our minds. He did that every single year. He did it again last night. He always cared about forwarding the mission of baseball and making sure that people don't forget about how wonderful the sport is. And I think what's really cool is all of these interactions this entire season, Athens, Louisiana, Omaha, Nebraska, and then even last night before he hopped in the car after leaving TD Ameritrade, that's the game giving back to him. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, so many fans of teams that aren't Florida State making their way out there to say thank you, just as the LSU fans did in Baton Rouge. And, of course, the number of Florida State fans caught on camera saluting him, thanking him, relaying to him how much he's meant to them. Yeah, it was all great. It really is. It's not a sad time for me. It's a happy time. It doesn't usually end in a way that, look, short of winning the national championship, you don't get better than this.
Well, I think the thing that was cool, too, about this thing last night, the way it went, is he shared the emotions of the fans, too, because he was pissed. You could tell. He was mad.
Well, he's mad they lost, yeah. And I would tell you what, he's mad they lost, not for him, but he's mad they didn't do certain things. And that's what I mean when I talk about the nuts and bolts of the game itself. We weren't playing real well these last couple of nights.
He knew it. He was pissed after the loss to Michigan. He's like, there's some things. I was mostly pleased with our effort, but there's some things. Yeah, he said the same thing last night.
Yeah, we weren't playing well. We weren't very situationally aware. We didn't have we didn't execute in certain situations that give yourself a better opportunity. May not have won. We weren't hitting well enough. We weren't consistent enough. But you got chances to get guys home. The second and third, the kid throws the ball away. We get a run. Should have got another run there. You got a runner at third with one out. You don't get him home. These are the little things you're not doing right now that really hinder your opportunities to win a baseball game. You got good pitching. I mean, throughout, you got good pitching. You gave yourself a chance. And when you're not giving up a ton of runs, you ought to be in a position to win these games with just a modicum of decent hitting, but we didn't do it.
Yeah, I think the hard part is we look like – remember, I don't know if they still do it on the show. Do they have power swing and regular swing?
On the show? Yeah, they do.
It looks like we're power swinging every time. We're not dealing with a contact swing. Everything is power swing in a lot of situations. And one of them that stuck out to me last night is you have a multi-run deficit, and you have a shift on the right side of the infield. And we're swinging for the downs?
Yeah, I know, man.
You're not the tying run at the plate.
I've been
4-3. 4-3 is nice, but you know what you could do? You could keep the line moving.
Yeah, I've been frustrated lately. We'll see. Obviously, next year's team, how they're constructed. If there's an approach shift, there are some things that you can really like about their approach, but there are some things that obviously I would think need to be cleaned up. We're not always situationally aware. I doubt it's because they don't know or aren't told. But for whatever reason, the execution there.
But this last series of a few weeks has to do a lot for the confidence of that staff, both in the bullpen and the starting rotation.
Yeah, without question.
I mean, these are huge situations that we're getting out of. I mean, even Velez, when he walks the guy last night, he comes back and he gets a huge out. I mean, this is all stuff that you can file away for future use.
There's some real moxie there. There's some real what for there. There are plenty of things to hang your hat on going into the next season. It seems like a forever, way off, but. Yeah, no, I took note.
It's only a 4-month deal, but at the same time, 4 months is a good long time, and so we'll be ready for it when it comes next season. No doubt, everybody will be ready for it.
Florida State, the Noles will be back. You can welcome them back. Florida State baseball, 4:30 behind the scoreboard at Dick Howser Stadium. Florida State baseball sending that out, that anybody who wants to go do that, you can. 4:30 behind the scoreboard, Dick Howser Stadium. Welcome back, Florida State baseball from Omaha. The draft is tonight. Obviously, we've got a guy, speaking of Noles, Mfiondu Kabengele. A lot of speculation as to where he might end up and the way that looks. I'll touch on that next.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the social agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday Collegetown deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Thompson Services of Tallahassee, LLC, has been servicing the Tallahassee area for over 20 years with a variety of services from tire repair, new and used tires, changing of big truck tires, and 24-hour roadside service. Thompson Services of Tallahassee also will detail your car to perfection with wash and wax and a variety of affordable packages to have you riding nice and clean. Thompson Services of Tallahassee is located at 3014 South Adams Street, right across from Planet Fitness. Call for a convenient service appointment at 850-284-5907.
We're back with a state champion. That's right, a state champion head coach. His name is Titus Nixon. He is the basketball coach at St. John Paul II Catholic High School. Coach, how long have you been involved with athletics at JP2?
So I've been involved for 8 years as a coach. I was an assistant, and then 2 years as the girls basketball coach. And then I just completed my 5th year as the boys basketball coach. I also spent my junior and senior years as a student at JP2 in the early years of the school's beginning.
What does it say, though, about the culture of an institution that you graduate from there almost 15 years ago, but here you are still spending your time back at that school?
I think it says a lot. The fact that my wife didn't graduate from JP2, but we both felt drawn back to help in some way. And we weren't even living in Tallahassee, and we always had this thought of, man, it would be so neat if I could go back and help in some way. And when I was named the coach 5 years ago, it was very special, and people thought I was crazy when I said in 5 years we're going to win a state championship. Maybe even I thought I was a little crazy, and it was just so cool to see the program develop over these last 5 years. And we've seen that in many of the sports at JP2. We have so many committed coaches, so many committed teachers that really lay it all on the line day in and day out to try to provide a great atmosphere and a lifelong positive experience for these students in their high school years.
Coach, thanks for your time. For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Hendrick,
We're celebrating the Hendricks Summer Sales event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC with huge savings on the hottest models, like the 2019 GMC Sierra 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. Over 71 to choose from, just in time for summer. We are professional grade. Come see us on Capitol Circle Northeast under the giant American flag, or visit DaleJuniorGMC.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial. Plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin charge. See dealer for details.
See. Very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Bill Cosby and O.J. Simpson made appearances on Twitter over the last couple of days. Bill Cosby pronouncing himself America's dad from prison, and O.J. Simpson, unbelievably, really, O.J. Simpson using a sentence that I couldn't believe was his welcome to Twitter.
He killed it.
For crying out loud.
What happened there?
Oh, my gosh.
What do you mean?
Just, too soon.
Oh. The juice.
Stan, what are your thoughts? Thank you. Uselessly.
The juice is loose.
Well, that's true. It is. He's got a lot of getting even to do, Stan. I mean, why is he threatening us?
Yeah, that was, wow. I mean, crazy. And then Stugatz took it to the next level.
That's right.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Footnote here, I was surprised because I don't think I could do it, so maybe that's why I was surprised. But, man, the grace, eloquence, and dignity with which Mike Martin was able to talk to everybody that he did afterwards and to address in interviews and so forth, I would have been a blubbering idiot. And can you imagine? Now think about that, how long he's been doing this. I mean, I remember it was last week when he talked about he was kind of blindsided by it when he was on his way over to Hauser, that it would be the last time he drove over there for practice. Most of us, when you're hit with something that profound that you've been doing for 40-plus years, as you say, longer than you've been alive, when the reality of that hits you, it can be overwhelming. And who knows, maybe it was. Maybe he cried at the stoplight as he was on his way over there. I would think that that's a normal reaction to that kind of seismic shift in what your life is going to become and what it's been, and the moment to reflect on all of that. That's overwhelming.
I guess, but honestly, if you look at the way the handshakes of the other coaching staff, he's like, "You've got a great pitcher. He's just great. That's the best pitcher I've ever seen." He even said it to Ravage. That's a great reliever they got there.
Yeah. He's just locked into the baseball.
He's half angry at his team for not being able to execute, but he's also saying, "Are we just going to face everybody with 3 feet of break in their arsenal?" Like, good gracious.
Yeah, a little frustrated. But to me, when that final out occurs, now obviously he knew it was over, but I think that would have been difficult to have to address your team. I thought he was great there about not selling yourself short, being proud of what you accomplished. Not giving up on one another and getting to be to where you're one of the last 6 teams standing in baseball. I mean, think about that. That's a very big deal. That's a hell of an accomplishment for a group that was pretty bad, who had their confidence shaken throughout the course of the year and who had been wildly inconsistent. But he was able to take, one by one and address these things without really, there's the one part where he gets a little choked up sitting down to talk in the one video where he's kind of reflecting on his career in baseball. But by and large, he kept it together. And I'm not saying it's a great thing or a bad thing one way or the other. If he had cried or didn't, I just don't know how he did it. I would have had a real difficult time. His life, obviously, there are other aspects of it, his family being the biggest, but it's been about baseball. And it's probably incomprehensible, frankly. Incomprehensible to think that's it, your life in baseball as a coach, as actively involved in the outcomes of games and how a team is constructed and the day-to-day operations is over.
Yeah, I think for him, and it's just a guess based upon sitting in quite a few pressers over the years, I I think the battle mode doesn't turn off until you leave the building. That's just my guess, because there were times you could tell that he was furious, and yet he was able to put a smile on and answer the questions that he needed to.
Be a pro.
Dutifully. And not just give you a 2-word answer. He would, you're right. He'd be a multi-sentence answer, and he'd smile. He'd like, thank you all very much. Then he walks out, and you're like, he is furious. This guy's been able.
Yeah, he's really mad.
And he said it last night that he had a fake smile on. I think he still went to a place where he wasn't letting himself shut down yet. I mean, think about it this way. So when we were in Louisiana and we win that, I mean, he's interacting with the players, hugging the players, the coaches, the fans. I mean, he said goodbye to the fans briefly last night, but he's packing up his briefcase and the team is walking into the clubhouse. He's not giving him a hug player by player as they go into the – I think he was still kind of just like, stay in here, stay locked in.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then I am going to lose
well, then
it.
you're susceptible. Yeah. There were a couple of guys walk by, an assistant and trainer, and kind of rubbed his back a little bit. And
he shook Chip's hand.
Yeah, he didn't know, and I can't imagine. That had to have been difficult. I could see Chip
both of
kind
them.
of
Chip was like,
yeah, gonna look away here, you know? Yeah, I thought that you'd see. I thought that moment would get the best of him. But either way, I marvel that his ability to kind of lock in, as you say, and prioritize the moment, the specific whatever it is I'm doing. Oh, I got to grab my bag. I'm going to turn. I'm going to walk. I'm not going to think about anything other than what I have to do right now.
This is my legal bag. This is my manila
I'm putting
folder.
this in here. Yeah.
It looked that way.
Yeah.
Because, I think if the moment, if he was really embracing it for all the emotion and the emotional value outwardly, I think he would have been in a hug line that would have lasted a half an hour with the players walking back towards the clubhouse from the bench.
Yeah, he did talk about when we get back to Tallahassee, I can address you guys in our end-of-the-year meeting. So they'll have that meeting where the players will come into his office and he'll talk to them, I imagine.
Well, and also I think that's part of it. I mean, he mentioned last night, and he said it for a while now, that it's all about us. Like, that's been the slogan that's on posters and stuff. And there were cameras everywhere, following him in the hallways, and then they followed him as they concluded the broadcast, and they went to the Eduardo Perez piece that he did, the send-off piece. And the camera walks into the club. I was like, wow, so they're going to tape this too. And I know Seminoles.com taped it. So he may be waiting for a private moment that he can get with the team, like you're talking about, in a meeting where it's all about us and it's only about us.
Tonight, it will be about the NBA draft, and for one, Mfiondu Kabengele, well-loved and really, I think, rooted for player, if you will, is, that guy is somebody we're all going to be watching intently to see where he goes, because I think, unlike Bacon and Beasley, his story is interesting, the red shirt, the having to build to that point. We got to know him a little bit better. His personality is infectious. Not that those guys didn't have personality. Beasley especially did. But Isaac was just here the 1 year. All these guys that we've kind of entered into the NBA draft with and thought, oh, okay, well, let's see where they go. We're probably more invested in Mfiondu Kabengele than we've been in any of those other guys in this moment. And it's cool that Florida State's had this many guys that we could be excited about on draft night to see where they go. But he had big shot after big shot. The successes that we had while he was here, and he was a big part of that, getting to the Elite Eight and the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, and being able to go back to do that is something that we'll always look at, at his time, with his time here, and say he was a huge part of that. I mean, when he turned his game, moved his game to the next level, we became very difficult to beat.
Well, I could tell you that the first time I ever heard about him, and so I started to watch his progress early, was a since defunct show here on these airways. But Michael Langston was in the studio, and he was talking about some of the recruits that we had brought in and how they loved this young kid named Kabengele, and he's just grown into this different type of player than he had, developed as early in his high school career. And so he had the shooting touch, and now he was going to learn how to play with the body type. But the body type is so large that they're really excited about what he could be. And so, Michael is usually fairly well connected with the basketball program and the recruiting on the basketball program. And so I thought, well, they don't usually rave like that. They don't talk kids up. They don't want to set the bar too high. But if they're willing to outwardly talk about their hopes for this player, let's see what he's got when he gets on the court. So when he first took the court, I was like, okay, so they like him. Why do they like him? Didn't take long.
No, it didn't take long.
Holy cow, look at this guy.
He really improved in his body type. You knew he could get big, but then you saw the motor. and you saw how hard he worked and the selflessness, and then you listened to him talk and you found out, boy, he's a smart kid. He's got good perspective. He's he's not just a smart basketball player. He's a smart guy who gets it, who's really going to put in the work. And these are all things that, endear somebody to you. You want to see people who hustle and who care as much as you do, and he did. And then you also hope that they're really freaking good so you can win some games, and he was also that. And I bring it up because, of course, tonight's the draft, and depending on where you look, and there's a myriad of places, but ESPN.com has him going number 23 overall to the Memphis Grizzlies via the Utah Jazz. SI has him going number 27 to the Brooklyn Nets. Sporting News has him going 27 to the Brooklyn Nets. The CBS Sports mock has him going 19 to the San Antonio Spurs. That's a nice landing spot. NBC Sports, their mock has him going number 26 to Cleveland. No, these are all in the first round. We got a repeat here that I think is interesting. 247 Sports has him going 19 to San Antonio. And then finally, NBA Draft.net has him going as high as 17 to the Atlanta Hawks. So wow. Corey Clark and other Atlanta Hawks fans will be excited to see if Kabengele goes there. But 17, huh?
That would be the most exciting development since their 60-win season for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
For Fee, San Antonio seems like such a great fit because of his attitude. And one of the things that Pop says often is you got to realize that you're not that big of a deal in order to play here. That, it's not about you.
Right.
It's about the whole process.
Yeah.
I think Fee, other than the shot selection and the amount of volume that he likes to take,
oh, does he?
But I think theoretically, philosophically, he matches exactly that type of attitude. And you look at the raw skills, I salivated the idea of what that player could become with that type of development program in San Antonio. I hope he goes there.
Yeah, Boston also likes him an awful lot. And it was mentioned yesterday in an article I read that they would, they're interested at 22. So you're looking somewhere between 16 to 27. Somewhere in there. Obviously, we'll root for him to go to a spot where he has an opportunity to not only play but develop and be well coached. And I get it with the San Antonio love. We know that Popovich will teach the game and he'll find a role within it. And he's a smart guy, so he would probably take to that pretty quickly.
He just feels like a player who could still wreak havoc at the next level the way he did at the collegiate level. And
he's ascending. He's ascending. He's getting better.
He's getting better. He's getting bigger and stronger, and he has no fear. So he already has that part down. A lot of guys get to the association and they see, whoa, these guys are way bigger and stronger. I don't think Fee's going to have that fear.
I don't either. And he loves to. I mean, look, he's got the mid-range game. He can shoot in rhythm. He gets down the floor. He runs the floor well. He's getting strong. Yeah,
he's a natural shot blocker.
Yeah, he's intense. Love it. I wish him well. We'll be watching tonight. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
The best value for your dollar, with more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our Easy Choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They'll greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
Cigars of Tally is your one-stop shop for everything cigars. With 2 convenient locations, Cigars of Tally is here to serve you. The 1401 Market Street location is right off I-10 and great for travelers and after-work stops. The Midtown location, Cigars of Tally Lounge and Bar at 926 North Monroe Street, is great for those winding down from a long day. With the largest humidor in town, affordable cigar lockers, a large covered patio, and private conference rooms, there's something for everyone to enjoy. Cigars of Tally, open 7 days a week. Need cigars? Get your ash in here.
Just like football, when it comes to the court of law, you're going to need a solid defense. I'm Michael D. Blank, attorney with the Law Office of Jose Fernandez in Tallahassee. At the Law Office of Jose Fernandez, there is never an upfront fee, and if we don't recover, then you don't pay anything. Our team is dedicated to handling all types of accident, injury, negligence, malpractice, and wrongful death cases. If you're unable to come to us, we can come to you day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, for your free consultation today. The Law Office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid until you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. JRFinjury.com. Go Noles.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
I've been around a long time, seeing a lot of gadgets show up that are supposed to make my job easier. Digital screwdrivers, Hammer 2.0, the new improved nail, now with more pointiness. You know what really makes my job easier? Grainger. Easy reordering, easy inventory solutions, and easy to do business with every time. Gadgets come and go. You want reliability. You want Grainger. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hendrick. We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street, or find new roads at DaleJuniorChevy.com.
Barry knows cool, he's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool, you can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning, keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at BaranoAC.com.
Now you can quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This summer, turn to the experts at Carrier. Learn more about great rebates and 0% financing for up to 60 months online at BaranoAC.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barano heating and air conditioning.
The Braves are back, and as 2019 heats up, Atlanta is looking for some huge wins as they set off to defend the division crown.
Hit in the air to left field. That may be in the bullpen. Dansby Swanson with a rocket to left field.
Atlanta Braves baseball on 97.9 ESPN Radio is brought to you by Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass, and by Metro Deli in downtown Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The New Orleans Pelicans hold the number 1 pick in tonight's NBA draft, and they're undoubtedly planning to take Duke's Zion Williamson, although ESPN's Brian Windhorst does have some questions.
My concern is what position is he going to play defensively? He's not quick enough, I don't think, to stay with small forwards, at least a lot of them. And they're going to want to play him at center.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. The Pelicans also hold the 4th pick in a trade with the Lakers. The Hawks are the only other team with 2 lottery picks at 8 and 10. Our live draft coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, TV, and the app. ESPN's Malika Andrews reports the Pelicans are picking up the option for next season on Jahlil Okafor. Dodgers lefty Rich Hill is having an MRI on his pitching arm today. He'll go on the injured list with discomfort in his forearm. Team USA wrapping up group play today against Sweden at the Women's World Cup. The Americans will win Group F with a win or draw today. Julie Ertz held out of the starting lineup with a minor hip bruise.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Baseball legend David Ortiz was the victim of mistakes. This is a daily story. It sucks he got shot. That was news. It's worth reporting. The subsequent 50 stories that have run across the country as to he wasn't the intended target. Here's the guy that they were really going after. It was mistaken. Who cares? He got shot. It doesn't matter why.
Well, it makes more sense because the tag apparently was $7,800. I mean, like if you're going to go after Big Papi, you would think maybe
a little bit more.
Yeah, the bounty might be a little
difficult
higher.
Crime. Yeah. So he gets shot in the Dominican Republic, and everybody was, well, that sucks. And if you read those stories, people are like, well, I mean, what in the world? Why would anyone try and kill Big Papi? The same reason that dudes have their kids kidnapped or themselves kidnapped every time they go back to the country they came from when they're now worth millions of dollars. It doesn't have to make sense. It's a crime. Of course it doesn't make sense. It's scrupulous people trying to extract money from somebody, and you can only do that with leverage. You don't kidnap poor people. You don't. You know what I mean? That's why it happens. And so every day I'm reading these stories about, it's just strange. He was at a lounge in Santo Domingo and he would be shot. No, it's not strange. It's not strange at all.
That's a great introductory LP album.
Lounge in Santo Domingo?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what genre music that is.
Yeah.
But I was, you don't kidnap poor people.
It doesn't do you any good.
Yeah.
You're screwed. Now you're just stuck with a poor person. you gotta have leverage. So high-profile people tend to be the targets of these types of plots. It's not surprising. I keep reading that line, which I just don't understand. Why would they target? Well, they're not going to target Jerry Smith, some slappy nobody's ever heard of that makes no damn difference. I mean, you can't get any money out of him.
Unless it's a cartel message, which apparently this guy was connected. But, I saw that footage on SportsCenter.
I haven't seen the footage yet where he shot.
Listen, man, I don't know that the guy must have just gotten a name, and apparently here's how it went. So
I've seen the footage of him sitting at the bar. It looks like a lovely place, I might add. Everybody looked like they were having fun. He's talking to somebody.
Right.
Just sitting on a bar stool.
Well, okay, so apparently the real target is at that table. And so I don't think the shooter...
How do you mistake David Ortiz then for that guy? Nobody's as big as that guy.
I tend to agree. I think the guy was wearing a hat and Big Papi was not, if I saw the tape correctly. But the point is, I think the shooter was told the table and not the dude. And if it was like a cartel-connected guy, maybe you would think it's Big Papi because, he kind of fits the stature of the person you're trying to take out. But clearly this dude was not told what the person looks like.
Yeah, he was oblivious. Also, they've arrested 11 suspects. My God, this is an intricate deal. You've got no chance to get away with this when you've got 11 people involved. You want fewer people involved of these crimes, not more people. You're apt to get flipped on if you got 10, 11, 20 people involved in a crime.
Where you need people is for an alibi, not for concocting the plan.
Well, they've got 11 suspects that they've arrested. 3 more that are on the run, some of which they say have made it to America. They're trying to find those guys. So you're telling me 14, 15 people were involved in this plot and they still screwed up the identity of the person they were supposed to kill? These are the least reliable assassins ever. They're also pretty cheap. he kind of explains that's what you get when you're only spending, less than 10 grand on a hit.
But maybe 10 grand goes a long way. Who knows?
It does go a long way in the Dominican Republic. It's still not much to ice a guy in the middle of a damn.
So they made it to America, huh?
A couple did, they think. Yeah, it's crazy. The Victor Hugo Gomez.
Someday we'll build that wall around Florida.
Fernandez.
Who needs beaches?
Is Gomez's cousin. The police director said Wednesday. That's a fun thing to look at, just to read these. It's not clear why he would have to put the $7,800 payment for the would-be assassins. Where he would have to put that, I should say. Anyhow, this is the target arrives at the club. They're breaking it down. It's clearly a case of mistaken identity. You guys, they didn't mean to shoot Poppy. This shocking crime has taken a turn to the more shocking. It was an accident.
Yeah. Does that make it better for Poppy? Oh, they didn't mean it, man. They were actually trying to go get the guy you were talking to.
My favorite part is I skip ahead in this. According to the court documents, after receiving the photo, Vizcaíno, also known as El Hueso, the Bone, met the other suspects at a gas station. We should get the Bone to do it. El Hueso.
I would have liked it more if Big Poppy in this cartoonish existence, he went down for about 3 seconds, and then he stands back up, and he pulls a piece out on the lane. He goes, "This is my bleeping city."
Yeah.
Just like he did to the Boston fans at Fenway.
Yeah, the bullet passed through Ortiz, perforating his intestines and internal organs, and yet he's fine because he's Big Poppy. I would have liked him to get up and kill the man who just shot him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this is
But
city.
No, but with his hands.
Oh,
with his hands. He's just got his hands on you now. I got to imagine they're pretty strong. Based on the career he had in baseball, I'm going to guess they're pretty strong.
They call me Big Poppy because I popped skulls before I got to the bigs.
Oh, I just love every day another story. They didn't mean it. This shocking story has another twist, everybody. They weren't shooting Big Poppy after.
I mean, who could shoot Big Poppy? This makes a whole lot more sense.
That's what they're doing, right? Like every time they come out, I'm like, no, I get it. It doesn't have to make sense. It sounds like a poorly organized crime in the Dominican Republic. It's not like we haven't read that before. Just saying.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tallahassee has officially become a Nissan town, the Craft Nissan town. Why? Because Craft Nissan has the best pricing, best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Craft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our New For You program that helps people with damaged credit, and every new Altima and Rogue we sell has both special interest rates and rebates. You get both, plus $1,000 over Kelley Blue Book for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Craft Nissan difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Craft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Remember, if you don't see the Craft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
And we're We're back with another edition of Spring Cleaning. Today, we want to know how you save energy, water, and money during the warmer season. Caller, you're on the air. What do you do to save energy?
With the warmer temperature, I know my AC is working overtime, so I make sure to replace my AC filter once a month.
Excellent suggestion. Next caller, you're on the air.
Well, the city of Tallahassee recommends that I take advantage of their grants and loans to get more insulation in my attic. That's really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
Hendrick.
Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer admin insurance. See dealer for details.
If you're a paint contractor, the Home Depot is here to save you money. You can get the same or better quality paint as you do at paint stores, but you also get one thing paint stores don't have: low prices every day on every gallon of high-quality Behr paint, stains, and primers. Plus, for pros, volume discounts. How much are you paying per gallon? At the Home Depot, you pay less for Behr paint every day, like Behr Pro paint starting at just $15.48 a gallon. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See store for details.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Mr. Guts is looking for ways that he can get out of work. I can't believe you're already complaining about the amount of work you're doing. It's flabbergasting.
I'm just tired. I mean, it's not just that, it's the lacrosse. I love it, though. I mean, don't stop offering me opportunities. I want them. I need them. I mean, I got kids to put through college.
The Dan Le Batard Show, weekdays at 10 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios, this is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The New Orleans Pelicans hold the number one pick in tonight's NBA draft, and they're undoubtedly planning to take Duke's Zion Williamson, although ESPN's Brian Windhorst does have some questions.
My concern is what position is he going to play defensively? He's not quick enough, I don't think, to stay with small forwards, at least a lot of them. And they're going to want to play him at center.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. The Pelicans also hold the fourth pick in a trade with the Lakers. The Hawks are the only other team with 2 lottery picks at 8 and 10. Our live draft coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, TV, and the app. ESPN's Malika Andrews reports the Pelicans are picking up the option for next season on Jahlil Okafor. Dodgers lefty Rich Hill is having an MRI on his pitching arm today. He'll go on the injured list with discomfort in his forearm. Team USA wrapping up group play today against Sweden at the Women's World Cup. The Americans will win Group F with a win or draw today. Julie Ertz held out of the starting lineup with a minor hip bruise.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. Hope you're well. That sucked last night, huh? That was frustrating. I'll get to it momentarily. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always, don't miss anything. If you do, remember we post all 3 hours, both to iTunes and our own audio vault. You can email us if you like. It's jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app. Good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers, Periscopers, and the like. Hope everybody's well. So Mike Martin's career comes to an end. It does so out in Omaha. As I mentioned last hour, very, very fitting for the man to reach Omaha one more time. And for that reason, I'm not as overly disappointed as I think I would have otherwise been had this ended sooner, say unceremoniously in Athens or something along that line. It was good. It was good that they found a little magic and mustered a little what for and found their way back to Omaha, because they did something along the way there that is historical in knocking out the two SEC teams like they did and doing that on the road in both occurrences. They became the first team to do that. So they achieved something of merit that will be referenced in the years to come. So it's not a completely lost season. No, it didn't end in a national championship, but this little run helped put a palatable ribbon on a season that was otherwise really unremarkable, save for the fact that it was Mike Martin's last.
Yeah, if you look at it from the elimination round standpoint, we're one of the last 6 teams standing.
One of the last 6 teams standing, yeah.
And you directly ousted 2 SEC national seeds, and you had a half a hand in ousting a third. I mean, so a top 6 finish for this group that was mired in the slump of all slumps was no hit by Stetson. Was it Stetson that no hit us?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, not that long ago. Mm-hmm. I think we scored 2 or 3 runs in a 2-game set with. Remember that?
Yeah, you're not struggling to figure out how we got no hit based on the 3 games we played out in Omaha.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
when it looks like there's only half the field available to us, when in fact there's a whole field, and sometimes the shift was just begging us.
Well, we really, our approach out there in Omaha was such that obviously it wasn't successful. That goes without saying, but I also think it affected our confidence. And I think confidence is everything when you're standing in the box trying to hit good pitching. And we did face good pitching, and there are holes in the lineup. There are parts of this lineup where innings go to die, and you just are hoping to work a walk, a hit by pitch, something to get you back to the top to Salvatore, who really was the only guy I think in the lineup by the end of the year, by the last 6 to 10 games, you felt real good about seeing walk to the plate. Everybody else took turns. I mean, at the top of that lineup, there was a stretch where Reese Albert really pounded the baseball, and you couldn't wait to see him come up because the power was there. Drew Mendoza was the most consistently good hitter we had all year long, but he went through long stretches where he was ineffective, and that includes, obviously, out in Omaha. All these guys kind of took turns. J.C. Flowers, for a big part of the year, was this unexpected power source, but by the end of the season, I didn't expect much out of him at the plate, certainly not last night. Really, none of the times that he came to the plate did I feel real good that he was going to get a big hit for us and drive the ball with the same power we had seen earlier in the year. That had seemed to dissipate. Maybe it was too taxing, the double duty and all of the things that he had to do, center field, closing, all that stuff.
He looked DOA coming out to the mound last night, and I don't think it was a lack of intensity. He just looked exhausted.
Yeah, I think so. And so, hey, listen, they had a good run. They had a really good run. And, of course, Mike Martin had one of the greatest runs in the history of college sports. And, I think it's really simple. We've talked some about this, and I'll continue to talk about this. I get it when some people say to me, well, it's a shame he didn't win a national title, but I'm ready to move on. The people who are more measured in their approach to discussing Mike Martin's tenure at Florida State and their disappointments, as well as, the things that they liked about the man, people who take the time to have a little perspective will say, hey, I think it's probably good to get a new set of eyes here and see what happens, or change the way we do certain things. And I'm ready to move on. I'm not so sad that he's leaving. That doesn't make you callous. That doesn't make you a bad person. I'll accept that. As long as you also at least take time to reflect on the ambassador he's been for college baseball, for Florida State baseball, the representative he's been of the Garnet and Gold, the successes he's had, which are really in some cases unimaginable. You won't see it again. You won't in your lifetime ever see it again. Maybe long after we leave the planet, somebody will come along and do the unthinkable and stay somewhere for 40 years and coach baseball in college and somehow reach those incredible numbers and those heights. It's doubtful. It is something to behold. Shamey never won a national title. Didn't have the greatest of luck out in Omaha. Made some mistakes. Also overachieved many times and took teams like this one out to Omaha that had no business being there and eventually got exposed. So there's been a little bit of all of that in there, but there's no reason for the embittered response and sort of the way that some people tackled this. I saw on social media last night. That serves me right for going on social media at all. But to me, I would rather reflect on how fortunate we were, not just to have the man, but also for at this school and be as consistently great as he was for as long as he was, but also to have the run. This was an unlikely run. We've been on unlikely runs. There are teams throughout college baseball every year that go on a run that really could not have been predicted based on the overwhelming evidence that they weren't very good. But then they get hot at the right time, and baseball's a funny game. We're that team this year. The overwhelming evidence was we're not very good. We got potential. There's some areas and things that I like about the future, including the pitching staff, which I feel real good about. All those things are true, and we can go piece by piece if you want to at another time. But the team as a whole didn't play well enough for us to say, hey, you know what? They're going to be one of the last 6 teams standing at the end of college baseball season out in Omaha. They're going to be there. I mean, no. So last night, I hated to see a great career end. I hated to see them as inept as they were offensively. I felt like once we got down in this game, I understand we came back to make it 1-1, but literally the home run that made it 2-1, that moon shot.
Mm-hmm. Kid's third of the year.
He got into that one.
He got into the other one. He hit it. I actually was watching the game when he hit the other one earlier in the week.
So the only thing I'll say is that when he hit that home run, it was odd to feel like the lead was insurmountable.
Yeah, I mean, we only led for a half an inning in Omaha, and we won a game. We didn't walk it off, but we had Flowers come in and close it out. What are you going to do? You scored 2 runs out there, and you led a game for a half an inning. We got as much mileage out of this thing as we possibly could have.
Without question. And it's a career well played. It is fitting that he got to say goodbye to the people who love college baseball most there in Omaha, and that he got these kids out there. And I thought, they did a great job of documenting his last game, this season, his career, what he's meant to college baseball. The broadcast got it right. You had a lot of people weighing in.
Unless you're a Texas Tech fan, you're like, sweet Jesus, guys.
Yeah, but it ain't about Texas Tech right now. And I think a reasonable Texas Tech fan would know that. I mean, good, you beat us. You survived the loser's bracket for now. Good on you. But I think they knew, a great career, an all-time great career was coming to a close. And I thought they were respectful in the way that they handled it. I thought Martin was great with the fans and all the interviews that he did. And I love the footage this week of him out in Omaha because I think, just a hunch based on his facial expressions, his body language, some of the moments they were able to capture when he didn't realize the camera was running, I think he took the time to appreciate the ride.
Well,
looked like it.
There's a good video from Warchant that's called the 27th Out, I think, that Aslan put together, and it's like a 4 or 5 minute video. It catalogs everything except the game because you can't shoot game footage. So it's everything leading up, and it's not narrated. It's just kind of there's some quotes from Meat and Coach when they're both talking to their team, but it's not like a narrated autobiographical video or anything. And at the very, very end, when he's leaving the stadium, there's a guy out there, a Knoll fan, who was waiting.
I saw it.
Yeah, and he said that I'm terrified of flying.
But I made this trip. Couldn't miss it.
I wouldn't miss this for the
Wouldn't miss
world.
it for the world, yeah. I saw that. It's great stuff.
That's I think that's it. He's had a lot of those types of interactions, even in Louisiana.
He did in Louisiana. I was just about to say that was really neat to see the LSU fans and the FSU fans there, obviously embracing him, interacting with him interacting with them, him showing gratitude and appreciation for their support and their unwavering love of the Garnet and Gold that he has spent his life representing and serving and working for. And so I think in that sense, it was a fitting end, and I'm glad he got to go on another ride. I mean that. I think that I was really concerned that this was a disastrous season that was going to end very quietly for a man who otherwise had a very loud and remarkable career. And I was worried. So when they won in Athens, I knew we had skirted it. We had found a way, because those were resounding wins. Those were fun. Those were the kind of dominating performances that when they happened to us, we're like, are you serious? This team rolls in here and does that? That's happened before, right? But we were that team. We got to play spoiler.
Well, in a vacuum, too, it's what it looked like in the heyday, because you mashed the ball and you pitched.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what we did. That's what we were.
And then to go to Alex Box, to sweep at LSU, that...
I'll never forget that.
No, I won't either.
That's top 3 in things I've ever done.
I thank him and that coaching staff and those kids for that. I mean, listen, and a lot of times it's about giving strong opinions about what should or should not be done or how much better we got to get in certain areas. Honestly, today I just feel a level of appreciation. That's really what I feel.
Yeah, we're not playing ball till February. We got time to let this
We got time to let it, let it simmer. The next big thing here now will be the announcement of the next head coach. I do believe it'll be Mike Martin Jr. I think that announcement will probably come relatively quickly. To clarify for those that have been, emailing and asking questions about the process, the search, if you will, the committee that is tasked with finding the next baseball coach. I don't believe, and maybe I misspoke in the past, I don't believe it's a sham search. I just think it's a foregone conclusion that the outcome of the search in the interview process will reveal Mike Martin Jr. to be the next head coach. So that is to say, they didn't go into the search with the idea that nobody else could get the job. Just that they were going to talk to a handful of people, maybe up to 7. I know they've talked to 5. Mike Martin Jr. was one of them. And barring them being wowed, overwhelmed by a candidate outside the staff, outside the university, to a point where he was undeniable, they were going to hire Mike Martin Jr. And I think Mike Martin Jr.'s earned it. So I've said that numerous times.
Well, and if he does get the job and unforeseen circumstances do not arise, then just think of it this way, folks who are angry about that. In 18 years, he celebrates his 40th as a coach of some kind. So we'll all be here for that.
Well, one thing I would note is that what will happen, in my opinion, is they'll hire him and he will be obviously scrutinized. He knows that very closely. It will be like a 3-year deal and no more than a 4-year deal, I wouldn't think. And we'll find out. You got what it takes or not. You got the job. Now, got to produce. It's not like we can take a step back.
Do you think he'd be in more danger if this university was in the midst of a financial boon? Like we were just absolutely, we had money to spend. We had money to waste. We had money to burn.
Sure. I think anybody would be, because then you would attract candidates that are currently making $1.5 million and probably have a national championship on their resume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would...
timing almost works in his favor in that sense, where he has
he's
been cost opportunities by his name. That's the thing that I people continuously say I wanted to go see him prove elsewhere.
He tried.
More
than once.
People said he was going to bail back for Florida State the first chance he got. And be it true or not,
it cost him dearly.
It cost him jobs. It cost him the opportunity to please you, that fan out there.
It cost him the South Alabama job. It cost him the Wake Forest job. I don't know of others, but there might have been. I know he's interviewed. So he's a guy that had other opportunities, wanted to take them, understood it would probably behoove him to be a head coach somewhere else and then come back. But those schools, recognizing that he's always going to want to coach at Florida State and that his dad was getting long in the tooth, thought, no, we're going to hire a guy so he can leave us in 2 years, leave us in 3 years. I don't want to do that. And it cost him.
Yeah, maybe the timing and the financial circumstances is the
The reward?
It's the penance of the other problems, the baseball gods being against him. However, I will say this: if he gets paid between like $1 million and $1.2 million a year, then people are going, "What the hell is this?"
Well, he's not going.
If that was the salary pool,
no, but he's not. So you don't have to worry about that. That will not happen. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120, on sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer. That's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Red, white, and blue savings at the Home Depot means up to 40% off appliance special buys. Plus, up to $600 in extra savings instantly on select appliances. That means you can get a top-load Whirlpool washer and electric dryer pair, just $498 each. No rebate, no hassle, no kidding. Today is the day for doing. Red, white, and blue savings at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. Gas dryer extra. See store for details. Valid through July 10th.
Hendrick.
It's the Hendrick Summer Sales Event at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC. Save big on over 200 new Buick and GMC cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are professional grade. DaleJr.BuickGMC.com.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I'm going to begin by saying, before I even read the tidbits posted by the Tampa Bay Times and Mark Tompkin, who does a good job, that the story involving the Rays potentially playing half their home games in St. Petersburg and the other half in Montreal, say year 2023, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say, no matter what's been discussed, no matter what kind of permission Major League Baseball has given the owners of the Rays to go ahead and have these discussions with another city, this will always just sound like a ploy to see whether or not they can build a new stadium for them there in St. Pete or Ybor or wherever, right? Because nobody's going to say, yeah, sure, play 41 home games here in the Trop and 41 on the road in Montreal. I mean, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, where do I sign as a city commissioner for a $500 million to $1 billion stadium?
Right. I'm going to build a stadium for that?
For 40 games,
yeah. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But now let me inform you of why I speak of this. The Rays are going to explore, so says the article written by Topkin, splitting home games with Montreal in future seasons as part of a plan they say would keep baseball in the Tampa Bay area long term. No. The Rays were given permission Thursday by Major League Baseball to explore the possibility of doing so, though the plan would face several significant hurdles. I think that's an understatement, for being implemented, and likely not until 2023 or so. That would include negotiating permission from the city of St. Petersburg, given the use agreement requiring all home games to be played at the Trop through 2027, getting approval from the Players Union, as players would have 2 in-season homes, arranging for a new or vastly renovated facility in Montreal, working out logistics on how the schedule would be split, and getting formal approval from Major League Baseball based on working out a number of other issues such as the TV rights, sponsorships, and more. Yeah, so the next sentence is important because it explains this cockamamie story and idea. Having been frustrated with low attendance and efforts to get a new stadium built in the Tampa Bay area, you can stop right there. That answers why this absurdity is a story today, because they're not going to do that. They're not going to go play half their games in Montreal and half in St. Petersburg. They're not. That's never going to happen. So there are too many, obviously, glaring issues with that plan, some of which were just laid out there nicely by Mark Topkin. I can probably think, if we spend a little time on this, kicking it back and forth, of 5 to 10 more that would be problematic. You know what is sad? Is the stark reality is that the reason this conversation is happening isn't just because the Trop is sterile and by rights the almost cursed sorriest baseball stadium in the major leagues, and it's not because it's hard to get to. Nonsense. Here's the deal. The stadium sucks. It has needed to be bulldozed for a very long time. It's antiquated. It doesn't have charm. There is no atmosphere to it. As I call it, sterile. It is all of those things. But it's also that people don't go. That's just the reality of the situation. They don't go to the games down in St. Pete. And that breaks my heart, because in my youth, I spent year in and year out hoping that they would get a major league team. I went to all the spring training games in the area. I'd go see the St. Pete Cardinals. I watched the Mets come down to Al Lang. I've told the story many times that my stepdad's mother and father owned Johnny's Custom Cleaners right by old Al Lang Stadium, Florida Power Park, as it later became known. All of that. And I got to see Mets players. I got to, when I was a kid, I remember meeting everybody from Rusty Staub to Dwight Gooden and on down the list, right? Baseball was passionately cared about by the people of that community, and that's why spring training was there, that in really good weather, obviously. But they have never embraced their major league franchise in a way that I find to be suitable, even after ownership of that organization proved to be amongst the best in all of professional sports, that somehow find a way to go to a World Series, to find diamonds in the rough, to make the playoffs, to even in a year like a season ago where they don't make the postseason, they win 90 games in that division, given what their payroll is and what the Red Sox and Yankees payrolls are. That is a minor miracle. They are always, I think, on the cutting edge, whether you're talking about advanced metrics or ideas to implement with your starting rotation, all of these things. Kevin Cash has proven himself to be a really good choice as manager, even though a lot of people at the time didn't know who he was. We only did because he's a former Knoll. Really, he was just a journeyman backup catcher, light hitting. Nobody really thought much of Kevin Cash, right? But he's done a fantastic job. And there they sit with an opportunity to win a World Series. They're legitimately a contender to win a World Series. And, nobody's going to the game. They're 29th in attendance. They average 14,000 people per game. They had a historic low earlier this year, last month, in fact, of 5,786 fans showing up to a game. That's the lowest in the majors this year. I take issue with that. I think others are lying. That crowd in Detroit that day and the Marlins on a regular basis have been, routinely thrown out a few hundred people at the ballpark. That said, doesn't matter. We're quibbling over nothing. The bottom line is this. The overriding point is they don't support the team, and they win. It used to be that they would always fall back, well, they don't have much of a product. They don't win games. Well, they win a lot of games. They win more than most baseball teams. They win games left and right. They win all the time.
I think it's worthy to put a stadium out in the Ybor area because then you access between Orlando and Tampa a lot easier.
You do.
But still,
traffic would be a nightmare.
Of course it would. Traffic
already is.
Yeah, you need the rail to come with it, at least in a 10-year plan or a 15-year plan, which they've never been able to do. But that ship has sailed because Tampa was,
$892 million stadium in Ybor. That
Tampa didn't know how to pay for it.
It collapsed. They didn't have anything.
Remember they announced the site?
No. Yeah, they
were going to break ground, but when that report came out, it seemed so incomplete. You're like, wow, this looks like a facade more than it does anything with substance. They're trying to bully St. Pete out of whatever the hell that they're trying to get him out of.
And that silly argument has been in play for far too long anyhow, because the Tampa Bay area is now widely considered to be both Tampa and St. Pete. And St. Pete has grown up and surpassed Tampa in a lot of ways.
Yeah, if I was St. Pete, I'd say the hell with baseball. We get it in the spring. We're fine.
Maybe. I would love for them to build another baseball stadium there in St. Petersburg. I'd be fine with it.
But hipsters are bringing St. Pete money, not baseball fans. You know what I mean?
If you built a charming 30,000-seat stadium over by the pier, overlooking the water like Al Lang was, where the Rowdies currently play, I do think you could do a pretty good job of getting, 20,000 people there a night.
Well, clearly St. Pete doesn't want to do that, though, because they keep suggesting just putting it where Trop is. So
yeah. And the area around the Trop is improving every year. I mean, there are restaurants and wonderful art exhibits and music venues and bars and restaurants that abound, and they keep growing. That is an area I understand that they don't want to walk away from necessarily because it continues to prosper and continues to become an attraction for people really throughout the state, but also from Tampa. But people from Tampa are going to St. Pete, and this divide and this argument and this pettiness has to stop. But at the end of the day, that they've never had it together. Tampa never had it together. St. Pete has never supported the team. And it's a shame because they are so well run.
My theory on it, though, is this. Okay, so the Lightning, they draw more than the Rays do, which is, first of all, crazy.
But they also win.
So do the Rays.
No, but I'm saying they win as in go to the Stanley. Well, this year, obviously. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of years when Vinnick took over and they're a borderline playoff team or they're middle of the division. I mean, they only won their first division title in a long, long time. Not this season, but the season prior.
Right.
Now, we know that they're a threat, but it's not the same level as the Rays competing in the AL East. They're right there. They're good enough to get the job done, and they have been for a while now. And they've had a lot of iterations to show you, whether through trades or development or the draft, that they're worthy of your trust. I mean, the Lightning has been an organization that's worthy of your trust. So what's the only different thing between the two of them? For me, outside of TV viewability, it would be that one is in a much easier place to get to for all Tampa Bay area citizens, and the other one is not so much. St. Pete is still kind of tucked away. I mean, unless you're counting on the Sarasota market to drive up and go to games.
Also, I would argue though, you have, what in hockey you have 41 home games.
Yeah.
So, you're doubling the amount of games you're asking people to come to for baseball. I think if you could get that number to be respectable in the neighborhood of 22,000, we're talking about a very similar thing. They average over 14,000 currently. it's they're not that far off, and they're doing it for double the amount of games.
Right. It's just, but that's unbelievable. I'm sure their average ticket price isn't nearly as high as a Lightning game. I mean, they're giving them away for nothing, and they get 5,000-6,000 people on a weeknight. I mean, it's crazy. Whereas the Lightning average between 18 and 19.5 every single night.
The Lightning building is also a fun place and a great atmosphere to see a game. The Lightning have done things right. They're marketed well. They have an incredible owner who is invested into the Tampa Bay area as a community, right? He is community-based. He loves it. He is building the infrastructure around the team by investing in property. And so I think there are different elements at play here, but I don't think it's just because of where they're located. I think that, again, the two stadiums are very different, twice as many games, all of those things.
Well, I 100% agree that the Thunderdome is the worst building in the world. I know it's called the Trop.
Right, I call it the Thunderdome. Me too. It's awful. I mean, there is nothing to that place.
If you moved it, of course, it would be better. Like you're not moving into another Thunderdome. If you came across the bay, you would move into something that's.
But
a
if you
little bit
stayed
more
in St.
modern.
Pete and you just bulldozed that piece of crap and built a quaint open air stadium with a retractable roof,
so they had a 3-year window to talk to Tampa, and all this time since the '90s to talk with St. Pete. What the hell is the holdup with St. Petersburg that they don't want? That they don't have that vision? That they don't see it?
Well, because they need the financing, they need the investors. I mean, that lease is till 2027. They haven't felt the impetus to move because they've got them under lease till 2027. So it's 2019.
That doesn't better the community because nobody's coming anyway.
I agree with you. They have to sit down. This is what this is about, by the way, and let's put a ribbon on this. This is what this is about. It's trying to speed up the time frame by which a deal gets done.
Well,
This is a come to Jesus.
Yes, because this is also their case. They're building their case so they can go back to the commissioner's office and say, we've tried everything. We tried even an outside-the-box theory of moving to a different market for half the season. That didn't work.
Which is an absurd it's not going to work. It's dumb. I know that Montreal, when they were trying to salvage that organization, did the 22 games in Puerto Rico and all that. Come on.
They're trying to prove, the Rays are, that they're exploring every avenue
exhausting
before
all
they request to
opportunities.
move the team and have MLB help pay for the rest of the lease.
This is a resounding message to St. Pete officials, those that would want to keep that team in place, that we're not waiting until 2027. That's what they're doing. We're not waiting until 2027. You're going to do something or you're not, but we're going to find out sooner rather than later. We're tired of waiting.
Let's meet in the middle, put it on Clearwater Beach or on Dunedin Beach and make it a 25,000 seat stadium and just there you go. St. Pete, Tampa, neither you get it, you freaks.
Yeah, move into the place where the Phillies play their minor league baseball or
Bright House Field?
Yeah, move it to Bright House.
Oh, but you could go right
bar
over
out
by
left is nice.
You could go Honeymoon Island out there in Dunedin. There's a lot of nice real estate.
There's a lot of nice places they could play that I think would be charming and that people would show up to. Anymore, we know that the reduction in size of stadiums is the way to go. You don't need to try to fill 40,000 seat venues. You got 81 home dates. Some of them are on Tuesday afternoon at 4. You're not getting anybody at those games. Those are when those embarrassing pictures are snapped.
Yeah.
That's true throughout the league in general.
Well, I could tell you, too, going out to Pensacola and being at a Blue Wahoos game, which the stadium is smaller than LSU's, especially in the outfields. I mean, there's like an amphitheater and some grass out there that people can walk out to, but you're on the water and you hear the sounds and you smell the salt air. That does do a little bit more. Like, it's a AA affiliate. But I want to go back because it's really nice outside and you get the breeze from the water. It's a lot better than being but you got to have a cover if you're in Tampa. For 81 home dates, you got no choice.
Tampa St. Pete would need, wherever it is, they're going to need a retractable roof. Most any modern stadium has that. There aren't too many places that are so temperate where they don't have to do that. But, I mean.
That's what they're claiming part of the financing. They just can't finance the roof either. It's okay, sure.
Well, you look at baseball in the state of Florida in general and you say this is a real problem because nobody's going to those Marlins games. And I wonder, by the way, how long it'll take before Derek Jeter says, I'm out. I didn't sign up for this. I mean, I did, but I didn't. And Jeter didn't really have the money anyhow. But, he's never lost at anything in his life. All they do is get their head kicked in. And he hasn't exactly been –
Jeff Vinnick in Tampa?
That's correct. Yes, he hasn't been very good in the community. He hasn't been somebody that people in the community feel a kinship with. He hasn't engendered a belief amongst the fans of the Marlins that it's going to get turned around.
That's where I think A-Rod would have been a better politician in that regard if his group got the team.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am of the community, Jennifer Lopez. Okay, I'm going to go back to work.
It's the Jeff Cameron Show.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
That word from the first day of practice, that no matter what happens, we as a group need to stick together and we need to form a brotherhood that is so tight that nothing can break us. And our group was talented, but I think what made them so special is that they were resilient when things got hard. Instead of severing and breaking apart, they instead came together even stronger, and then also selfless. That this group put the team above themselves in a way that I have hardly ever seen in sports, whether it be on the high school, college, or pro level. And I think that's what made this year's 2019 state champions at JP2 so special.
It sounds like even though you built a culture, a championship culture at that, at JP2, it doesn't just come from the basketball program itself.
JP2 is a wonderful family environment. It is a school that prides itself in helping students develop and form in mind, body, and spirit. It truly is a family atmosphere.
For more information about athletics, academics, student life, visit sjpiichs.org for St. John Paul II Catholic High School.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
You know, when kids grow up, time spent in the park, around the campfire, or at the lake is what they'll remember. We know the great outdoors. We love the great outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, where you can save big during our Star Spangled Summer Sale, like Bass Pro flag chairs for under $10 each, and a Stars and Stripes tailgate toss game for under $30. Visit BassPro.com and Cabela's.com.
Ah, the bull elk's bugle, one of nature's most wondrous sounds. That is not a bull elk, that's Kim. Her RV sewage tank is spewing all over her camper. Way, way out in the middle of elk country. Yep, there's an elk. And that's Kim. It's wild out there. When it gets too wild, Progressive has your RV covered. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning. Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com.
Now you can quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This summer, turn to the experts at Carrier. Learn more about great rebates and 0% financing for up to 60 months online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The New Orleans Pelicans hold the number 1 pick in tonight's NBA draft, and they're undoubtedly planning to take Duke's Zion Williamson, although ESPN's Brian Windhorst does have some questions.
My concern is what position is he going to play defensively? He's not quick enough, I don't think, to stay with small forwards, at least a lot of them. And they're going to want to play him at center.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. The Pelicans also hold the 4th pick in a trade with the Lakers. The Hawks are the only other team with 2 lottery picks at 8 and 10. Our live draft coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, TV, and the app. ESPN's Malika Andrews reports the Pelicans are picking up the option for next season on Jahlil Okafor. Dodgers lefty Rich Hill is having an MRI on his pitching arm today. He'll go on the injured list with discomfort in his forearm. Team USA wrapping up group play today against Sweden at the Women's World Cup. The Americans will win Group F with a win or draw today. Julie Ertz held out of the starting lineup with a minor hip bruise.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Kind of funny thinking about the NBA draft tonight, given what New Orleans has now after that trade with L.A. and 2 picks in the first 4 will potentially set you up nicely to be able to roll on Big River if you're going to get Zion and another great player.
Yeah,
that'll work. Some would say that's a fleecing. When you look at the totality of what they were given by the Lakers.
You get Ingram as well.
Oh, and you get all kinds of picks for years to come. We're going to be, I guarantee you, fast forward to the draft 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and you're going to go, why do they still have so many picks? The Lakers?
Well, yeah, I get frustrated with it because there are these specials and little montages or features where you've got people. I think Marty Smith did one where it's like New Orleans is about to embrace basketball. You had Anthony Davis, guys.
Yeah.
I don't think you are. I really don't think they are unless they make the playoffs and make a deep run. Zion by himself had an incredible effect on some secondary ticket sales. Certainly here in Tallahassee, remember how much the tickets were going for in the lower deck?
Yeah.
I mean, you could get $500, $1,000 for some seats at the Civic Center. But it's not like Anthony Davis didn't come with a lot of fanfare before. Is Zion really going to transform basketball in New Orleans where a number 1 overall guy like AD could?
But a 1 and a 4 and a need to make a splash and get fans attending these games where we saw, obviously I brought up some of the numbers about just how poorly run they were and how poorly attended those games were and how, ineffective they've been as a collection, as a group, as an organization, and convincing people to come support that product. You get a sense now you got a reset button. You got a do-over here. You're going to get 2 elite players in this draft, one would think, and including the biggest high-profile player that is a little bit more transcendent in the sense that you don't see people weighing 278 pounds able to do what he's able to do. And he was internet famous, as I said yesterday, long before he ever got to Duke. So his profile is a little bit larger.
It is. I heard somebody on SiriusXM today say that he's like Zach Randolph, but a superhuman athlete. But that's the body type. And I couldn't think of one, and I've been thinking for a long time, where would you comp him? And I think when he puts on his weight at 22, 24 years old, Zach Randolph is actually probably a good place to look.
Problem with trying to comp Zion Williamson is that we haven't seen anybody like him. That's when when you're sitting there going, well, who would I say he's like? Not many people I've ever seen.
It's like Zach Randolph and LeBron put together.
It's kind of crazy, right? When you see a guy that dense, that size, but with that mobility and explosiveness and athleticism to go along with he's a good passer, so he's an interesting guy. I mean, that's why whenever you heard people talk about the potential that he didn't translate, I thought, well, maybe he doesn't. You never really know 100%. Some guys get to the league and they do fall apart. But I don't think you could, in good conscience, project that and ignore what he is and draft somebody else. There's nobody else if he meets that physical potential, that explosiveness, that body type gave us already. I mean, you would get fired if you ignored that and drafted somebody else. You can't. You have to draft him.
Yeah. And yet he wasn't supposed to be the best prospect when he entered. When he set foot on campus at Duke, and Jay Billis was on Le Batard today talking about it, how they have a device that measures the high jump, your vertical, and he broke it. It could not register him, so they had to put the device on like a little box
and
or
add
something.
the inches that way?
So that way, yes, so he could actually register on the machine because he went too high for it.
Well, there's the one block on the baseline this year where he actually blocks the ball and then continues to ascend.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was fake. I thought it was a fake video. I literally was like, oh, somebody's doctored this. That violates the rules of physics. You can't do that. I've not seen anything like that. It was really, really silly.
Not with that body type.
No.
If a small forward did that, you wouldn't think as much, but he's not a small forward in stature.
No. Switching gears, let's go to football. I bring this up for this reason because obviously we've been infinitely frustrated by the inability to get a good quarterback. We were just talking about this yesterday, to get an elite prospect in here. Oklahoma landed another one today. This for 2021, and that in and of itself is going to cause me to spend a lot of time breaking down Brock Vandegrift's game. He announced that he's committing to the Sooners. He's another quarterback out of the state of Georgia, which these days produces every good quarterback in college football. If you think about Trevor Lawrence, you think about Justin Fields, you think about Emory Jones and all these different guys. I mean, it's nuts. They're all coming out of Georgia. This one is too, and he's decided to commit to Oklahoma instead of Auburn, Clemson, Florida, or Georgia. So those were the schools that were in on him. Some people said Tennessee had a chance, but please. So you look at those schools, and you can breathe a sigh of relief that he didn't go to Clemson, that he didn't go to Florida, to some degree that he didn't go to Georgia, because all they've done is stockpile elite players right now. So good. Go out to Oklahoma. Maybe someday you'll have great success. That's fine.
Maybe someday they'll have a defense. That's got to be the talking point out there, right?
Well, the whole league doesn't cover anybody and stop anybody from scoring, so that is aggravating.
But, I mean, you just got to be like probably 80th in the country or 60th, and you've got a fair crack at it. That was the interesting thing is clearly Bob Stoops loved Landry enough that or Lincoln, excuse me, enough that he was going to set it up to where he's the only guy who could take the job. The way Bob left, the time and the calendar that he left, okay, I'm handing it off to him, and I don't care what the boosters say. There's nobody available unless you want to go get like Les Miles or something. Mm-hmm. So he takes the gig, but his brother ends up screwing Lincoln's early development because they can't stop anybody. Like, it's not just, Big 12 standard, it's Big 12 bad. And that's probably got to be the storyline for people out there is, can we just get to like below average? Kind of like us in the offensive line.
Yeah, and under Bob, they did for much of his career, obviously, given his background as a former defensive coordinator, they did get stops. They, literally they had a ton of talent. You think about the team that mauled us out in Norman. That team was really good, and just we weren't good enough. We weren't physically good enough.
Once they got beat by Notre Dame at home, it seemed to be that's a nice little line of demarcation of when defense really was hard to come by out there.
Yeah, it seems optional these days for that team and for that program and the Big 12 in general. And you're right. I think if they ever get a modicum of decent defense, they're gonna be in contention again. As it is, they're in contention every year. They get to the college football playoff because they can light up the scoreboard. Exactly. They produce Heisman-winning trophy quarterbacks every year, and now they've got a handful of really good quarterbacks on that roster. I bring this up only because, we kind of dodged a bullet very quietly. I was these days recruiting. You like to make fun of me. I'm checking these things out.
You are,
but I'm looking at that kid. And I'm thinking about our inability to get a yes from a 5-star can't-miss prospect. Now, again, I think we're in good shape starting next year.
We did okay.
Sims comes in, and I'm going to be excited about
We've hit a summer lull and a half, but we did as much as we could with the kids that they wanted to be here.
Yeah, and so it's been interesting. I'm just glad that Clemson is announcing yet another elite quarterback to the roster, and that arch rival Florida did not get him either. So, okay, we were on the cusp of being in trouble again. And I was, hopefully Sims comes here and reaches his potential and is a real good player. But the other thing it tells me, and why Oklahoma's getting a lot of these commits too, is people want to come play if you're an offensive player for Lincoln Riley. And what you're having to hope for now, given a guy that's coming basically from that league, in essence, that you have the same thing. I mean, you've got an offense that's fun to play in. You brought a coordinator who's got a reputation for lighting up scoreboards to the tune of over 30 points a game everywhere he's ever been, right? And the numbers are gaudy for quarterbacks. So you're coming out of high school now. If you get if Bryles gives us, just anything this year, they're able to throw it around the lot, beat teams they're supposed to beat, put up some big numbers against teams that are lesser than, if you will, things we haven't been able to do in a while, see 17-10 and scores like that when we're getting by Wake Forest or Duke or things like that where you're just rolling your head going, this used to be a time where I wondered whether or not we'd score 65 points. Now I wonder whether or not we're going to win the game. So, can we get a modicum of that this year? Can we get a measure of fun being infused into the offense so that when these high school kids that are saying yes to Lincoln Riley see a bit of a clone in what's going on in Tallahassee and say, I'll go play in that offense. All right, I don't want to go play in the Big 12. I'll go play there. It'd be nice because a lot of these quarterbacks are from the South.
Yeah.
A lot of these quarterbacks are in the state of Florida, state of Georgia. They're right here.
I get the sense in reading up on Rivals or 247 about what's going on is we've had a couple of camps and we have the big event in July, the Saturday Night Live thing that we do. But I don't know how much more is coming in the near term without the proof. I think we got the kids who didn't need the proof. They have
There's
the,
only
they have the
so
trust.
much you can do.
I think that's where we are right now. And that's where the fans have been. Honestly, fans have been there much longer than recruits. But I think both are now kind of there. Unless we wow somebody in July when they come visit here, it just looks like we got what we got, and everybody is – they may like us, but they're kind of just watching. And they're saying, okay, what you got, Florida State? What you guys doing this year?
Well, then they're mirroring the fan base, and, we know how that works. At some point, it is going to be in the pudding, as they say, the proof, that is. And I got to believe that short of winning football games – there's only so much you can tell a kid about what their future is at Florida State, given the evidence they've seen over the last few years.
Yeah, it's amazing because we had a couple of high-profile kids there for the Virginia Tech game last year. Let's just say you win just that one and you go 7-5. That class is probably markedly better because the kids had the experience of the Virginia Tech game and the fans were actually not shut down for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
Didn't have anything to cheer about until Cam Akers broke an 80-yard run in which we didn't score a touchdown anyway.
You're looking at that commitment list. You made reference to it anyhow. And, to me, one of the things that happens when I look at 2020's commitment list, beyond noting the positions, and obviously there are several linebackers that you go, okay, good, we've got linebackers again. But, there's a dearth of offensive linemen. I don't need to be looking at that list and seeing one offensive lineman. I need to see a handful of offensive linemen. But the other thing that stands out to me, and this is where it does make me smile, because to your point that they've probably done about as well as they could do given the circumstances, is whether you're looking at War Chant or Rival, wherever you're looking, 247, whatever it is, look, man, 4-star, 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 before you get to 3 stars, and there are 3 of them. I understand stars aren't everything. They don't guarantee one way or the other whether a kid's going to be a great all-time player, a surefire can't-miss prospect, or a bona fide failure that we wasted our time on. Every kid is unique unto himself, and we'll see how they develop when they get here. But obviously I like increasing our chances by getting the higher-rated kids to say yes, and the more of them you have, the better opportunity you have to see this thing shift and turn in the right direction. And I think that is an inordinate number of highly rated kids for a 5-7 program.
Yeah, our average star rating is probably punching above our weight class and then some. But you're right, you got one committed. I think it's the Herring kid, right? Is the one offensive lineman.
Zane Herring, yes.
Yeah, who's committed to us. We got to do some serious work there. And now we're running into a place where skill position-wise, we do need to fill out the class with receivers and running backs. I know we've done some damage there already, and we've got a couple of good leads. But we've neglected that the last couple of years, and it was okay because we had a lot of young depth, but it's time. Like linebackers, we did a great job already this year. That's good, unless somebody flips or a couple of them flip.
Lord knows
we're
we're always getting a yes out of a DB.
Right, every year. But we need some receivers, running backs, offensive linemen being the first and foremost. But you got quite a few things to fill between now and then. Win some games, and I'll bet you get a lot more yeses.
Locking in on that offensive line. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Really going to keep my cooling costs down.
These are some great suggestions. There are lots of ways to save. Caller, you're on the air.
I reduce energy for water heating by lowering my water heater temperature and installing low-flow shower heads.
We have time for one more caller. What do you have for us?
I make sure to use my programmable thermostat to regulate the temperature in my home when I'm away.
Thank you, caller. That's all the time we have today.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities would like to help you save as much energy as you can and save money while you're at it. Visit talgov.com for more information and start saving energy today.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Who's ready for the best wings in Tally and locally brewed beers? Hobbit American Grill is the place to be. They've been voted Tally's best wings again in 2018. Hobbit offers Bingo Mondays, happy hour all day Fridays with craft beers on tap from all the local breweries. And the Hobbit is your home for all the UFC fights with plenty of high-def TVs for everyone. Be on the lookout for the food truck coming soon with the best lip-smacking wings in town. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving great food to great friends for good times. For info on their hours and 3 locations, visit them online at myhobbitonline.com.
And now, an ad from Dad.
All right, save money on car insurance when you bundle home and auto with Progressive. Can I take these off? All right. What is this? This looks good. Wow, that's well made. Where did you get this? I'm talking to you with the hair. Yeah, where did you get this? It's good stuff. That's solid. That's not veneer, that's solid stuff.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Hendrick. We're celebrating the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month long at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Shop over 300 new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs right here on Tennessee Street, or find new roads at DaleJr.Chevy.com.
Take me out to the ball game.
Indeed. And with weather like this, it's good to see you out on this magnificent, sizable deck.
It is quite impressive. You can see it all the way from the stadium.
What a deck. What a deck indeed.
I hear that a lot.
You know, I remember, what was it, mid-90s you opened up? Place was so small.
Now it's huge.
All I know is a lot of good times have been spent on this deck. Man, people enjoy it. They laugh, they sing, they drink, they eat, and they celebrate all the goodness of the Gordo's deck.
And you can come have a Gordo Smash.
Delicious. Sitting on the deck with a Gordo Smash. That's a good day at the office.
Or put a Cuban in your mouth.
And other food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Did you just get an Amazon Echo? Pretty neat, huh? Now you can find us on there. Just say, Alexa, enable ESPN Radio Tallahassee. Once you've enabled our skill, you can listen to us anytime you want. Simply say, Alexa, play ESPN Radio Tallahassee.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. The New Orleans Pelicans hold the number 1 pick in tonight's NBA draft, and they're undoubtedly planning to take Duke's Zion Williamson. although ESPN's Brian Windhorst does have some questions.
My concern is what position is he going to play defensively? He's not quick enough, I don't think, to stay with small forwards, at least a lot of them. And they're going to want to play him at center.
Brian Windhorst on First Take. The Pelicans also hold the 4th pick in a trade with the Lakers. The Hawks are the only other team with 2 lottery picks at 8 and 10. Our live draft coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, TV, and the app. ESPN's Malika Andrews reports the Pelicans are picking up the option for next season on Jahlil Okafor. Dodgers lefty Rich Hill is having an MRI on his pitching arm today. He'll go on the injured list with discomfort in his forearm. Team USA wrapping up group play today against Sweden at the Women's World Cup. The Americans will win Group F with a win or draw today. Julie Ertz held out of the starting lineup with a minor hip bruise.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. Appreciate you joining us. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. Sometimes you do, I understand. If you do, just remember you can get caught up. All 3 hours get posted. Upon the conclusion of the show, we put it in our audio vault on the webpage. Also to iTunes. Should make it simple. Go to iTunes, rate, review, tell your friends about it. Listen to the show at your leisure. Email us, jcs@979 ESPNradio.com. A lot of people weighing in on Mike Martin and the end of a career. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers and Periscopers. I hope this day finds you doing well. Thanks for watching us perform our radio duties. And so it was, with a whimper at the plate offensively for Florida State. Mike Martin's career ends in a place where I think, obviously, as he noted afterwards, he wanted it to end. Obviously, he would have liked a different result, would have liked to have won the national championship. We all would have liked that. But we also knew, and discussed it quite a bit yesterday, that the probability of that happening with this particular group was very slim. They were going to have to really get fortunate because they had too many holes in that lineup, too many swing and miss guys, too many strikeouts, not enough consistency up and down the lineup to try to win a bunch of games in a row. And which is what you got to do out there, you know. Now you can catch lightning in a bottle, which they did, and go on a nice little run. But if you're lacking consistency and depth of the lineup, at some point, because you're facing better pitching out there, you're going to get exposed. And Florida State did most of the times this year. Look, it's a cliche, but it's true. Good pitching beats good hitting most of the time, both at the pro and college level. You're going to run into a number of arms that are very, very good when you get to the College World Series. And so, to me, the problem with this team was fairly evident. You look at some of those approaches at the plate. They could be very good at times, though, and it's such a small sample size. 3 games where you don't hit is very frustrating, and you're tempted to maybe make a blanket statement about what they can't do or what they should have done. Of course, you could retort, as Tom did yesterday when we were having this discussion, and say, well, I mean, they seem to do everything just fine in Georgia. They did, and they were average at Baton Rouge, but they pitched well enough to win, and they didn't run themselves out of games like LSU did during the 2 days.
Or Arkansas did to open up this tournament.
That's right. So it's sustainability is the thing, and they didn't really have that up and down the lineup. I talked about the bottom of the order there. Other than Matthew Nelson, who's really emerging now as a real nice player for us, they just had too many guys who weren't real comfortable at the plate at the end of the second half of the season, if you will. Some of those guys really young. It happens. They didn't hit again last night, and if they didn't get a guy chucking the ball out into center field on a pickoff attempt, they might not have scored. That moment in time was sort of indicative of the problems I saw from them anyhow, which think about that situation. You get the tie and run. Now you got to go ahead run at third base, and you don't get them in. And situational hitting was a problem for us for a lot of the year. I feel like there's an overall lack of situational hitting in modern baseball, whether it's pro baseball. We had this discussion yesterday too, or college baseball. You see way too many ABs with an opportunity to get guys in scoring position. And I'm not talking about sacrificing. I'm not talking about laying down bunts and all that sort of thing, although I was for what they did last night with the –
You have to, as anemic as we've been.
Oh, you have to play for a run there. Yeah, sure. But I mean, just situationally in general, hitters understanding I got a guy at second and nobody out. All right, fine. I'm not sacrificing him over and giving away that out right now, but I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to get the ball to the right side and get him over one way or the other. So my approach is going to be to go the other way because I understand there's value in that out. And we didn't see a lot of that. And, you know, I think that's true in the bigs. I see a lot of that. Watching my Pirates, watching anybody's team, I see a lot of swing and miss, a lot of launch angle stuff, a lot of, hey, we're trying to hit the ball to the ballpark, play for the beginning. And, you know, that's kind of who we were this year.
I had been watching baseball for, 30 or 40 years before the shift started, but I've been watching it a long time. And two things I thought I'd never see is a shift that's so crazy that, A, the runner off a third could be basically halfway home. And that's a regular occurrence now because of the spacing of the third baseman and the shortstop who stays to the left side is second. And then two, which is off of the same point, that there isn't a willingness to use a wide open side. It was, I think, Robbie Martin's at bat last night, where you're down multiple runs, your run means nothing, and you're trying to hit it into the shift. I mean, at some point, man, even a cue shot down the left field line, you might be first and third, you might be second and third. Carpenter, the other night, which you brought up, had a bunt for a double against this very similar-looking shift.
Yeah.
And they're just begging you to do it. And I think what's happening is the shift is getting so ridiculous because hitters aren't taking advantage of it.
They never do.
They
rarely do,
They
I
hell
should
with
say.
it. Okay, prove us wrong.
Yeah.
And prove us wrong multiple times before we come out of it.
And because guys have taken approach of the approach that I'm swinging away no matter where you're located, they haven't exactly executed and perfected the art of a bunt. So now you're begging them to do something that fundamentally players used to know how to do, lay down a bunt. But a lot of these guys aren't good at it, and they're not even comfortable enough when you have cleared an entire side of the field that guarantees you a hit if you just get the bunt in play. And,
I'm sure the numbers aren't as drastic as this because college defense is, not as good as the pros. But I remember last year, this is before Jay Bruce got traded like 7 times. He was still on the Mets roster. And the talking point during the game was about the launch angle discussion and how it had made its way into, Mets thinking. And the number was if you put a ball on the ground as a left fielder, or I'm sorry, a left-handed hitter against the shift, you're batting like 180. I mean, it's like impossible if you hit a ground ball against the shift. So the idea was to launch it over the shift. But the crazy thing to me is, for our purposes, and we saw a lot of shifts against our left-handed hitters, how many fly balls, line drives, whatever, were hit to right field, like truly to right field, not right center, like at the right fielder where he has to make a play this entire tournament?
Yeah.
I can't think of one. Like, I can't think of a single one.
They were out to center.
Right center was the farthest, and that was the great catch catch the kid made last night.
Of course the kid caught that ball.
I know, because you're going to get Salvatore up with 2 outs and 2
I thought
and
that
a
was
chance to tie the game.
Yeah, I thought that was the game. That was an amazing play. Yeah. No, it hurts.
But we did. I mean, we hit a lot to left. The Michigan game, there were quite a few last night as well. But we didn't hit many truly to right, and yet the approach was, each of those at-bats to try and pull it over the shift.
Well, let me do this, though. Let's shift gears because we have talked about what didn't work last night, in particular in a game in which you're eliminated. But I want to thank Coach Martin. I want to say thank you to Coach Martin on these airwaves publicly, just because, when I've told this story a lot, I won't retell it again and again, but for people that maybe are new to the show, when I first broke in to Sports Talk Radio, the first real pro that I ever interviewed, the first guy that was of note in FSU's, collection of coaches was Mike Martin. And he didn't know me from Adam. I was new to the scene, and Lee Bowen took me over there and introduced me to him, and it was to talk about the upcoming season. And I was there basically to take notes, to try to learn, who this guy was, how to approach him, because I was going to be talking to him during the course of the year. And he couldn't have made it any easier. I mean, he really was just a gentleman and a professional, and he was kind-hearted, and he was funny. And I felt like, we were just in a room. And it wasn't even the locker room or anything like that. We were just in a baseball conference room, just sitting there with him. And there were a few other reporters there, Steve Ellis, the late Steve Ellis. And I've never forgotten that. I've always appreciated that. And over the years, I've had, obviously, opportunities to interview him and talk to him more than I can count. He was very sweet to my two boys. I got a great picture of Bryce with him down in Tampa when that team took on the Yankees. Jameis Winston was on that team. Went down there. We got into the locker room. I went down there with Mike Martin Jr. His dad was there. He came right over to my son and talked to him. And picture of him in the dugout with my son that I'll always cherish. My son has that picture in his room. He was all class. And whether or not you're happy to move on from Mike Martin is immaterial right now. There are plenty of people who are. You can be excited. I think Ira pointed this out. I've talked about this a lot over the last couple of years. You can be excited to turn the corner and do something new, get a new set of eyes on the program because I think by and large people are ready to move on. That doesn't mean you can't also appreciate the dignity and class with which Mike Martin represented this university and the success, acknowledged success of consistency and winning more games than anybody who's ever coached a game. So you can do both. You can say, I'm ready. It's time to move on. I'm disappointed. I think we should have moved on earlier. You can say that respectfully. But you can also note what he's meant to Florida State baseball, who he is, the ambassador he has been for this university, the national title. Yep, duly noted. 17 times, didn't happen. But he brought this team out to Omaha a ton. When you look at the rest of the programs that play the game, you see the wins, the 40-plus years, 40-year wins, 40 years of 40 wins, all that stuff. You don't do that by accident. You don't do that by luck. You don't stumble into that kind of success without knowing what you're doing. And again, he's never embarrassed us. You can argue and quibble about whether he should have taken a pitcher out sooner or later. You can argue whether or not he should have recruited this kid or that kid, or he shouldn't have ignored my son just because my son didn't go to his baseball camp. And I know all the politics that get involved in all these things. Nobody's perfect. He had his mistakes. He had his successes and everything in between. We all do. But he certainly was a class act, and he was Florida State baseball. And I think last night you saw the fawning and the respect and the kindness showed him by fans of teams from all over the country. The announcers who don't have a play in this also recognizing all those years of interviewing him before games and getting the information they needed to do their broadcast. He was nothing but professional and overtly kind to all. And so that's why you saw the outpouring of affection. So I'm just thanking him at the top of this, the 5 o'clock hour, the drive hour, when everybody gets in the car and tunes in. And I think we can all say that we're happy that it ended in Omaha, that at least he got back to Omaha one more time.
Yeah, I think a month ago, 6 weeks ago, the ratio probably was 80-20 for people, 80% that people were looking forward to seeing who the answer was going to be, who the next person was going to be, and 20% cherishing, the stretch run, just because the season had its moments where it languished and he just felt,
they struggled this year. They really did, yeah.
But the last month has
that was a fun ride.
It's flipped. It's 80-20, I think. You're 80% appreciative. It's the ultimate curtain call for Mike Martin, and I'll never forget the moment in LSU. I mean, I've had a lot of cool moments covering this team because I cut my teeth, and a lot of my beat work early on was baseball related. And so when you get to see somebody every day, you gain an appreciation for them. You gain an appreciation for the process. Whereas football, it's been touch and go over the years. You don't get to see them as regularly, and it fortifies this guy and how every day, even after bad ones, you could tell, like last night, he said he had a smile, but it's a fake smile.
Yeah.
You could tell.
He wanted to win.
He was seething, but he would always answer the questions as best he could without losing his mind on the people in the middle. And then you see the way he interacts with people that are wearing the Florida State garnet and gold, and certainly he always cherished that. So I'm just glad he got a curtain call that he deserved. If not a national championship, this is as good as it could be.
Yeah, I think so. And so I think we can all be appreciative, not just that of a career well played and well respected, but that it didn't end with a whimper. That was my biggest fear, was that what we were going to get was the end of a poor season with a little fanfare on the road in Athens, as we were going to be summarily dismissed with a little fanfare. I was worried about that. So good for them, making the run. They were a flawed team that eventually got exposed and got beaten, but they got beaten in Omaha. and that seemed apt for a man like Mike Martin. So respect to Mike Martin, career unbelievable, hard to put into words, but I always wanted to say thank you and respect the man, and I think we'll always cherish his time at Florida State.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Of the local workforce. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
You're a small business owner, and there's nothing small about what you do. That's why Dell Small Business Technology Advisors give you trusted advice, one-on-one partnership, and tailored tech solutions, like computers with Intel Core processors, servers, storage, networking, plus thousands of top-brand electronics, accessories, and software. No matter your technology needs, Dell is here to help your small business do big things. Call 877-BUY-DELL to speak with an advisor today. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
At Indeed, we believe a resume is a great way to see an overview of a candidate. But you're not hiring a resume, you're hiring a person. That's why Indeed offers tools that help bridge the gap between a candidate and the resume. Like skill tests, which let you actually see a candidate's abilities in action to make sure they're a good fit for the job. See beyond the resume with Indeed. Experience Indeed for yourself today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting at Indeed.com/promo. Terms and conditions apply.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hendrick.
Find new adventures, find new roads, find a new car buying experience at the all-new Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet. Save big at the Hendrick Summer Sales Event all month. Get a 2019 Chevy Silverado 1500 truck, up to $12,000 off MSRP. That's right, up to $12,000 in savings. Find honest, trusted service right here on Tennessee Street, or shop DaleJuniorChevy.com. Not all vehicles will qualify for maximum discount. Must finance with GM Financial, plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and dealer app insurance. See dealer for details.
Exciting news for you loyal Florida State fans. Now you can show your Seminole pride, plus get 15% off all regular priced FSU merchandise during Team Tuesdays. Remember to stop by any Garnet and Gold store location on Team Tuesdays and take 15% off all regular priced FSU apparel. It's that easy during Team Tuesdays at Garnet and Gold. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
Stop by Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com. 2019 Nike Coaches apparel has now arrived. Visit Garnet and Gold's 3 Tallahassee locations or garnetandgold.com.
Barry knows cool. He's keeping you comfortable. Barry knows cool. You can put him to the test. Barry knows heating and air conditioning. Keeping you comfortable is what Barry does best.
Deciding whether or not to fix something that has worked well for a long time can be a tough choice. When you turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, we'll help you decide on whether to repair your existing system or consider new energy-efficient options. Book your repair or service appointment online in under a minute at baranoac.com.
Now you can quickly and easily schedule an appointment, purchase or renew your service agreement, or pay your bill from your mobile device. This summer, turn to the experts at Carrier. Learn more about great rebates and 0% financing for up to 60 months online at baranoac.com.
Florida license number CAC 1816186.
Barano Heating and Air Conditioning.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I propose we start it there next time. I know we wanted to give our next guest the extra long journey intro as he requires.
Well, we haven't queued it up or cut it up because we would never use it
right
any other day of the year.
Yeah. But this is a day to be celebrated, and we've been doing this for years. Yes, tonight is the NBA draft. And going back quite a ways now, I can't remember the exact impetus, but there was a draft one night in which several players were taken that none of us had ever heard of, and they went on to be good, starting with, I think, Dirk Nowitzki. And I remember thinking, well, we're going to have to start taking this seriously. There are international players that are making their way to the league and having an impact. Well, there used to be a lot of guys like that. They'd make a team, but they didn't really change the league. Then they started to change the league. And so Matt Millar, my old producer, dear friend, struggled with the international players and, would give guesses as to where he thought they were from. A lot of times it was absurd where he thought they were from. And this became a game. I began to wonder just how many players, if we asked Matt, just by name recognition alone, where he thought they were from, could he guess correctly the country of origin? And, to varying degrees of expertise. One year, I think he got like 6 out of the 15 or 16 that there were. Another year, he got 0 out of the 20. So it's been all over the map. We welcome him back to the program now. Hello, Matt Millar. How the hell are you, brother?
Hey, brother, I'm good. I don't remember getting 6.
I think you did. I think your peak performance one time
I may have cheated that year.
So you were looking at it. You were studying up. But I think you're good this year. This is an interesting crop. And it's also weird because, like, for example, if I were to say to you, Fiondu Kabengele.
He's from Florida State, Jeff.
That's correct. Where is he from originally?
You
got no idea. The answer is Canada.
Canada?
Yes.
I wasn't going to go there. I'm glad I didn't respond because it wouldn't have been appropriate.
He's from Canada. And so you can't always, judge by the name, man.
No?
Yeah, he's born in Canada and plays here. And, yeah, I got it. But that's what...
A few years ago, there was like a Eric Wilson who was from like the Czech Republic or something like that.
Right. Yeah, you get screwed up all the time. So if you're ready, we're going to give you what are the best international basketball prospects. So, for example, technically the best international basketball prospect played at Duke. R.J. Barrett's from Canada. He is Canadian. But
boy, Canada's pumping him out.
Well, man, it's a Canadian flair to the draft tonight. But I'll start with the next guy because here would be the first legit international basketball prospect that you have never seen play. You ready?
I'm ready. I've never seen, probably never will.
Hyperfocus. Sekou Doumbouya.
I got the first name. I'm gonna need the name again.
Okay.
All right,
let's buckle it down here. I got to get focused. Sekou Doumbouya.
I think this is a tricky one right off the bat.
It is tricky.
I'm gonna say he is from Croatia.
He's from France.
France?
Played at Le Begues in Pro A, France. Now, He is considered to be an international draft prospect from France. I don't know where he was born. This has been hard to get these things whittled down. He may not be.
That's why I didn't get it right. Maybe he was born in Croatia, just plays in France.
Perhaps that is a bit of a problem here. Let's look at Rui Hachimura, who, by the way, you've seen play.
No, I haven't.
Yes, you have. He played at Gonzaga.
Oh,
Where is he from?
Yeah, I wouldn't get that. Give me a name one more time.
Hachimura. Rui Hachimura.
Let's go. He's from Israel, Jeff.
He's from Japan. He's from Japan. Rui Hachimura is from Japan.
God, come on. I didn't know we were going Pacific Coast. I thought these were all European. That's two unfair ones right off the top.
I don't think that's unfair. Tom, do you find this unfair?
Israel ain't exactly Europe, but yes, I don't find it unfair.
Okay.
Hachimura sounds like a Japanese artist.
It's not Pacific.
Nicolae Alexander Walker.
He's from Georgia.
Canada.
Golly, what?
He played at Virginia Tech. I'm purposely emphasizing certain aspects of the name to trip you up. Okay.
So Wilson didn't help.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Goga Bitadze. He's a center, if that makes any difference to you.
Oh, not a power forward.
He's not a power forward or a guard. Nope. He's a center, 6'11", 250. He's 20 years old. Goga Bitadze.
He's a center from Spain.
Georgia. Not the state, but Georgia. Yeah, you almost had it. Almost had it. Luka Samanic. Luka Samanic. I think it's probably a ch. I think that matters. Samanic.
Oh, that might matter.
Yeah.
In hopes of not sounding inappropriate, I'm going to go back. He's from Israel.
Croatia. He's from Croatia. You can't get him. Here we go.
Oh.
Davidus. Okay, so we've had a Davidus. Davidus Servidis. Davidus Servidis.
It was Davidus Dulkis, right?
We did have a Davidus Dulkis. I'm glad you remember our players. Now, can you get this guy's country of origin?
He is from... Wow. He's from Germany?
He's from Lithuania.
Lithuania. There's always one.
All right, here you go. Guy played at Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey.
Charles Bassey's from Kentucky.
No, he played at Western Kentucky. Charles Bassey is an international prospect. Where is he from? He's a center, if that helps.
Yes, most definitely. Since you said that.
Charles Bassey.
Charles is
an 18-year-old
center from... Charles is a center from Portugal.
Nigeria. He is from Nigeria. Charles Bassey from Nigeria.
It's not even the right continent.
Adam Makoka. Adam Makoka, 6'5", 210-pound shooting guard. Adam Makoka. You haven't gotten one right.
No, man. I'm shooting a bagel here. Let's go. He is from...
you can do it.
He's from France.
He is from France.
He is!
Yeah!
Hell yeah!
We got it! Yeah! Way to go, buddy!
There goes the bagel, yes!
You know what I'm proud of about that? Not only did you get it right, He played his pro basketball briefly in Mega Bemex in Serbia by way of France. He's from France.
Oh.
So you really, you tore it up, buddy. Well done.
Also, I don't think anything can beat Iceland from last year, but yeah, I'm happy to get one.
Iceland's a
That's
toughie.
solid.
Iceland's a toughie. Joshua Obisi. Dead silence.
It's from Fatland.
Joshua Obisi. What do you got?
There's always one. He's from Greece.
He's from Germany. He's from Germany. All right. Marko Simonovic. Marko Simonovic. He is a 7-foot center.
Boy,
He weighs a mere 215 pounds and 7 feet tall. Yeah.
He's from Spain, Jeff. Marco's from Spain.
Montenegro. He's from Montenegro.
Montenegro.
Oh, yeah. Abdoulaye Ndoua. Abdoulaye Ndoua.
He is from. Well, what position does he play?
He is a forward.
Oh, all right. Well, if he was a center, I was going to.
Kind of a combo guard, frankly. He's done a little bit of both.
Versatile.
He's versatile.
He is from. Give me the name one more time.
Abdoulaye Ndoua.
He's from France.
Correct.
Yeah.
Boom. We got two. He even played in France. He's never left France. He's all about France.
He loves him.
He loves him some France. All right, here's one you will not get. He did play at West Virginia. That doesn't necessarily help you.
No, definitely not.
Sagaba Konate.
He
played at West
probably not
Virginia.
from Connecticut.
Definitely not from Connecticut nor West Virginia. Sagaba.
So if I'm not going to get it,
You're not going to get it. Go off the mat, man. Go crazy. Go pick a place you've never picked.
He's from Madagascar.
Mali. You had the M. You had the M. He's from Mali.
Oh.
Hey, 2 of 15, sir. This is a good round for you. I'm proud of you. And let's keep the tradition alive again next year. See if we can top 2, all right?
Yeah, I'm super proud with 2. And it was a tough year, man.
Yeah, tough year. And I think, did you get both right from France, right? You got the 2
Yeah,
French.
both were from France. That's right.
If I had to select the most disappointing effort of the entire selection process, it would have been your guess somehow that Raul Hachimura was from anywhere other than Japan. That was a slam dunk, man. You had it. What did you say?
He caught me off guard, man. I got no deuce.
You know what I think? There's an element of this for all of us. You're trying to be very careful not to be racist or
very, very much so.
Yeah,
I'm very scared to pick like Nigeria.
Yeah, I know. You're like, oh, so he has to be from Nigeria, huh? So I'm sure. I see how it is. Hachimura has to be from Japan. It's okay, man. That doesn't mean you're stereotyping. If your last name is Hachimura, I think it's a fair guess that you might be Japanese.
He's not from Sweden.
Yeah.
Chances are Patel's not from China.
Yeah, correct. It's okay. We don't have to be so sensitive. I can sense it in your voice. You're like, I don't know about this game anymore, Jeff. I'm going to get myself in trouble. I knew it as soon as I said Sekou Doumbouya, and you were like, Germany? Well, stop it. Later, brother. I'll talk to you later.
Brother.
Bye. The great Matt Millar. Yeah, I knew it. I could tell. I could sense his apprehension when I went Rui Hachimura, and he's like, well, I don't. I'm like, Matt, if we were sitting on the porch and I told you that my friend Rui Hachimura, and you'd say, "Oh, from Japan," that's what you'd ask.
He doesn't want to be Randy Marsh playing, Wheel of Fortune at a much lesser level.
I think I know it.
Yeah, right.
But I don't want to say.
I thought there was a long pause before that first correct answer. I don't know. Maybe the cell service was a little slow out there.
Oh, you think he was looking it up?
I don't know.
No, he did well on that day. And I also think I saved his bacon there at the end with the Abdouye Ndoua. The pronunciation was so perfect, he had to get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I sounded French. Somebody driving down the road was like, Cameron's got a little French in him.
I would have never guessed that. I would have guessed Northern Africa and probably that you were pronouncing like the first letter N when it would be silent.
Right.
But you ended up working,
I ended up nailing it. I ended up sounding French just like him.
You're like
it was beautiful.
George Whitfield. You got crazy means by teaching, Here comes the mop.
Yeah.
The mop is coming after you.
Good. I didn't ask him Lukensdort. So I'll ask you him. Lukensdort?
From the Czech.
He played at Arizona State. He's from Canada. The Canadians are feeding us basketball players left and right. This actually, if you look internationally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big-time or 4 big-time Canadian prospects in this draft. And if you want to count Cobb and Gelly.
Didn't Wiggins technically count as a Canadian?
Yeah, I think so. By the way, Cobb and Gelly projected right now, on a serious note, anywhere from as high as 14, as low as late 20s. But the Celtics are said to be very interested at 22. And San Antonio, who you want to see him go to, is looking at him, I'm told, at 19. So.
Okay.
There you go. Listen, if he goes to either place, he's going to be all right. I mean, those are well-coached teams, so I would imagine he's going to do okay.
Yeah, you just don't want to see him languish in an organization that changes coaches every 3 years.
Don't go to Memphis.
Yeah.
Don't go.
Well, it could be Ja Morant and
and
Fee. That'd be something.
I want him to go.
Two guys who like to shoot the basketball.
That stat yesterday was the best. The assists.
Well, they have Ricky Rubio too now, don't they? Is that part of the trade? Or was Ricky Rubio on the way out? I don't care.
Who cares?
It's Memphis.
You don't care at all. Either way. Conley's gone. All that stuff.
I knew Conley was gone.
Yeah.
There was a haul that went one way, I think.
And it sucks. Some of these guys who were great players in college that we got to see and we knew they had game get put. They go to places that it's a black hole. You'll never hear from them again. They're done.
It's funny. I was like, who went there? Wait, you know what? I don't care.
I don't care. Why do you care? Yeah, I thought the same thing. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.